Hello and welcome to the final episode of Season 2 of Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series, chapter by chapter-ish, game by game or so. This week, we are finishing up our journey with Trails in the Sky second chapter, coming to the end of the story where everything will be resolved entirely, I promise. I am one of your hosts, Matt. I use he, him pronouns.
And I'm Lex. I use she, her pronouns.
And isn't it exciting to see the word Finn at the end of the game?
It sure is. It's a really good game.
Oh, it was a really good game. A lot of fun twists and turns in this last section that I didn't know about, and I love that. Because I've definitely spoiled myself on major plot points by accident in the Trail series before, but this time I was like, oh shit, many times, and it was a good time for me.
Hell yes. This is such a good game. It's so good.
It's really good.
I can't believe we finished it. I can't believe we've done 2 games. What the fuck?
It sure felt like a long journey at the start of this journey. It also felt like a long journey at the start of this episode because, oh boy, what a dungeon run this is.
God, yeah. I really wanted us to get it done, like, now because we're getting closer to Christmas holidays and stuff. I figured both of us would probably benefit from having our weekends a little freed up, especially, I do my Saturday nights and you have Sunday mornings, and both of us probably will have things going on, so I figured it would make sense to wrap it up with some time to go. For some housekeeping, we are gonna be coming back in the new year for a third chapter. We don't have a date set for that, but never fear, we are coming back for the third.
Exactly, yes. This is not the final episode of the show. This is the final episode of the recap part of the season. We might still do an end of season recap episode like we did with Chase and AJ last season.
Yeah.
But that'll probably come out in like January or something once we've had time to have a break.
Yeah.
Conveniently, this is timed really well because next weekend is my birthday. So I get to just like chill and vibe instead of writing notes on my bed with 2 different laptops open in front of me.
The birthday you share with Taylor Swift. Yeah, it's coming up.
That's true, yes. My bestie, Taylor.
Yeah.
We both love to sing songs about guys with big hogs, I imagine.
This is true. Her song Wood, every time I was putting the quartz called Wood on someone, I was like, oh dear God, the song would get in my head. And I'm like, the puns are so bad, but it's catchy.
Wood gem? Is that when you bedazzle your chongus?
It's exactly what it is.
That's really unfortunate to have to plug into your magical pocket watch.
Yeah. You gotta do it sometimes for the build.
Yeah, you gotta do it. It was very exciting throughout this episode, and last episode really, to just have more and more of these just like nondescript gems filling my orbment setups.
Yeah.
It really feels like it accelerates your like spell spread overnight, basically. It's so intense.
It's crazy the number of spells they came up with for you to only get access to in the last like 5 hours of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I was seeing a bunch of spell names on there. I was like, I've never seen this Nova Flame or whatever it was called before.
Yeah, it's like I've seen that in later games. I didn't know they'd come up with it this early.
I was just crossing my fingers the whole time that I'd finally get to see Athelas, the like heal with full HP from KO, but as far as I can tell, it does not exist yet.
That sucks. I didn't have it in my build, but I didn't check if it existed in the Bracer book.
I used it a couple of times before I remembered that Thalos is like really basic res, like it doesn't even give you as much health as like a reviving balm.
Yeah.
It was good to burn through all my like celestial balms and Zerum capsules and powders at the end of the game because I don't even use my EP charges during the game. I just don't use items. That's been like my...
You just raw dog it.
I've been raw dogging RPGs since Final Fantasy VII, and it's not a good choice. Don't do that. But it's just stuck in my brain. Oh, I've got to save it for later. And then I'll be like in the final fight and be like, oh, but what if there's a stage 7? Nah, just use the fucking potion. But before we dive fully into the game, what have you been up to for the past week besides playing the world's longest dungeon?
Well, besides playing the world's longest dungeon and having a crazy week at work, I did start playing Blueprints.
Oh, yes.
I usually don't play first-person games because they tend to give me motion sickness, but Seance of Blake Manor, I managed to get through with, like, there was some discomfort, but I got through it and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I'll try Blueprints. So I fired it up, I played 20 minutes, and I went and threw up.
That's right, yep.
It was so bad. But I was intrigued enough that the next day I was like, what if I can Google and see, like, have other people must have had some issues with this? And I found, like, suggested settings that got it to a similar level as Blake Manor for me. There's discomfort, but it's manageable. I'm having fun with it. I don't like it as much as Seance of Lake Manor. I'm learning about what I like in these kinds of adventure point-and-clickish type games, and I really like more characters to interact with and more dialogue-based.
Yeah, fair.
Like mystery solving. I like some environmental stuff, but when there's no other characters, I start to feel a little less compelled by it, but I am still finding it fun and intriguing.
Yeah, I have played a bit of Blueprints. I did bounce off it a little bit. Like I can see the love for it there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't vibing with me at the time because
That's very
it's
fair.
very much like a notebook puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've mentioned it before on the show, the thing that always sort of not always, but can rub me the wrong way about puzzle games is sometimes it's how good the puzzle design is. Do you have to already be thinking like the designer to understand it?
Yeah.
Do you have to get into their puzzle logic, or can you just sort of look at it sight unseen and be like, oh, I can start to figure this out?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not thinking on the same lines as the designer, it just becomes infinitely harder to solve the puzzle.
I got that, yeah.
Like I didn't want to look up anything about Blueprints, obviously, because it's all about discovery and that. But when I was sort of being like, I got to the door at the end and it's like, oh, you have to open the lock. And I was like, what fucking lock? And it's like, oh, you meant to pick up these clues from here, and here, and learn all this and be notebooking that. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll circle back to it. It's still in my library. So
Yeah.
when I'm feeling particularly puzzly, I'll probably pull it back up again. Because, yeah, I don't just want to like follow a walkthrough like I do with these games.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it gets some awards at the Game Awards, which at time of recording will be next week. So it'll be the weekend
Right,
that this
yeah.
episode comes out.
The Thursday, yeah.
Happy Game Awards to everybody.
Happy time to get really mad about something. I'm sure nobody's ever happy with them, you know?
That is the coverage that tends to come out, yeah. As a member of the judging board, or like a part of a site that's a member of the judging board, I'm not that important personally. It's the same thing that everyone's covering. The categories don't work. They overlap. They don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The event is meant to be an award show, and it's just a trailer show.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they smash through like 6 of the 10 awards in like ad breaks is like, come on.
Yeah.
And just things like a lot of voice actors have been raising there's no like best voice acting category or like best performance or anything like that. So we're not singing out like half of the content in these games.
Yeah.
It's just such a missed opportunity. And yeah, I hope that it can reform. Also, just I can't wait to see what kind of dog shit fit Jeff Keighley's going to be wearing this year. Because it's never good. Like
it's going to be graphic tee with a jacket that doesn't quite fit over it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there will probably be sneakers.
Sneakers that don't go with the outfit either. It was a standard that was set in like the early 2000s on these shows, and everyone just kind of locked in and never looked at it again. It's so you've got everyone showing up in like the exact same look, ill-fitting suit, graphic t-shirt, and then there's like Neil Newbon who shows up with like a fire fit, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Only Astarion could bring like real fashion to the show. But you know what? I look forward to watching all of the trailers. Probably not the show, but I will watch the stream afterwards and skip through the bits.
Well, it's also during your workday.
Yeah, usually I just put it on in the background and sort of half listen to it. So if there's any good trailers, I can catch them. And then if, it's FIFA or whatever that I don't care about, then I can just, do my job.
I think I'm going to watch or hate watch it with some other folks in the network.
Other than looking forward to the Game Awards, I have been playing a few video games besides Trails in the Sky.
Ooh, yes, tell me.
Mostly it's on the Switch. Like, it's good time for Switch gaming right now. On the same day, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Octopath Traveler 0 came out.
I just want to play Octopath 0.
So I told myself I was only going to buy one, and I did buy both.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figure I've got a couple of weeks coming up that I can just like dig into those. So bouncing between those, still trying to finish up Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I keep getting lost in the source doing all the missions and forgetting that I want to know how the story ends. And one of the game I've been trying out on PlayStation is Bye Sweet Carol.
Oh.
Which is this...
I've heard something about it.
Puzzle solving kind of game. It's like a 2D side-scrolling setup, but it's all rendered as like hand-drawn animation. Very much in like the classic Disney style.
Nice.
So you're a young girl who's trying to find her friend Carol at Bunny Hall, which seems to be a little bit of a manor in the countryside that girls who aren't up to snuff get sent to. So the opening monologue's like, this is a world of like industrialism, and this girl was too small and frail, so they sent her to Bunny Hall.
Now her friend's looking for her? Could they be gay, mayhaps?
I feel like there might be gay vibes in there, because it's like...
That would be good.
She and Carol are two girls who kind of found kinship, and she's trying to find her desperately. But it's also very, like, spooky scary. There's, like, body horror bunnies chasing you, and a spooky man...
Body horror bunnies.
And a tall... Oh, yeah, really. They are gross.
That's scary. Yikes.
And, yeah, like, a man in a top hat and a cloak who turns into oil and, like, chases after you or something. It's all very spooky. I quite enjoy it. The animation is good. It's not Disney level, but it's also not a Disney
Sure.
game. So it looks really good. Like so many custom animations throughout this game. It just moves very slowly.
I see.
It's one of those games where they have a run button and you should just be able to turn that on by default because why would you ever walk at the snail's pace?
Fair.
I haven't gotten very far into it, but it's good. I recommend it. I think it's on PC and PlayStation and maybe Xbox as well. But that's kind of it. I've just been bouncing between Metroid Prime with the talking guy that everyone hates.
Yeah, I've heard about him.
So that's great. I've only scratched the surface of Octopath so far. The town building stuff is cool. That's what I'm here for. And I can't wait for them to explain why I have like 8 parties of 8 people at some point.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that came out. I need to play it. I played because there was a mobile game, like a gacha game, that they reworked some of the assets into this. I don't know how comprehensive they've...
Champions of the Continent, yeah.
Yeah, and I played some of that before I quit it because I remember that I'm like morally opposed to gacha games. I forget sometimes, and then I remember, and I'm like, no, gambling bad. I hate the rise of gambling.
Yeah, it sucks you in.
So I quit the game. But I found a lot to enjoy in it at the time, so I am excited to check out. And also to do whatever the Dragon Quest Builders type stuff is. I'm excited to see what that is.
Yeah. I've only just opened that up, and it seems like it's kind of gated by progression in like side quests or story missions where each time you complete one of them, it unlocks a little bit more you can do in the town.
That makes sense.
Like the very first one you do is like build the workshop, because obviously you need that to build everything else. And then you're sort of sent to go find someone who is rumored to be from the town, who's hiding out nearby, and then invite them back to sort of build your first housing. And then it's like you can do decorations and stuff.
Oh, this was in the mobile game vaguely, but I never really got there.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the like story or characters are directly transposed over from that, because I also installed that on my phone and then didn't actually open it and look at it until after the servers had shut down.
Oh my god.
So I never really got to experience it, but I did see the character list on like the Octopath wiki. There were a lot of characters in that thing. So, I mean, if you've got them there waiting, why not use them?
I mean, so most of them, like, there was a lot of, because it was a gacha, so you'd pull characters to, like, use in combat, but they basically had no, like, story relevance. But then there were the characters who were, like, the enemies and stuff, and those were, like, actually consistent characters. So I imagine that some of the villains and stuff are the same, but I don't know how the, like, characters you fight with work outside in a non-gacha system. They even had, like, a character from, what's it called? Triangle Strategy, like, as a special promotional thing. You could get him in your Octopath team.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I wonder if any of that'll carry over, because you do get, like, save data bonuses for a bunch of Square Enix games, just, like, extra decorations for the town. So it was, like, the first 2 Octopaths, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D, Dragon Quest 3 HD2D, and then one other game that I can't recall. But I managed to tick them all, and it was just, like, a unique thing that gives you, like, a little boost in your town or something.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. And probably Triangle Strategy.
Probably, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, because I do have that one as well. It seems pretty good. I feel like it's one I'm going to chip at over a long period of time, like I usually do with the Octopath games.
Makes sense.
It's just nice to have a stacked lineup on my Switch.
Yes, indeed. I do need to pick up Octopath Zero. I think I'll pick it up on Steam Deck because I don't have a Switch 2 yet. And apparently it runs well on Steam Deck, so I think I'll do it there, but I'm not sure when I'll get around to that. Hopefully soon.
There's also something about the maximum sort of items you can deploy in your town cap is different per platform.
Oh, that's weird.
That they haven't really highlighted. Like, Switch has the lowest count, Switch 2 has the next, and then Steam, it's like you can add an extra 100 decorative items or something.
That's so weird.
It's not like it's a graphic-intensive game. I don't know why you'd need that, but sure.
Go off, Square Enix, I guess. Anyway, speaking of going off, this chapter goes off pretty hard in a number of different ways, and we have a lot to cover, so you want to get to it?
Let's do it.
We're good to go!
Previously on Glee, we had just gotten a message from Weissman, an evil computer message from Gossip Georg, taunting us about the fact that he's evil. Our characters told us that we should probably go and check in with Julia before we go into the Axis Pillar. Now, I didn't go back quite yet. I went up to the Axis Pillar and got sucked into a mandatory mob fight.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a boss fight, but it was not like it was one of those like lion thingies, I think.
Yeah, with the riot arms or whatever they're called.
Yeah. So I did that before I went back. And then I went back to the Arcee to go check in.
I did the same because as we sort of covered at the end of the last episode, I just stopped at the start of the map for the Axis Pillar rather than going in. So I activated that tram, read the mean note from Gossip Georg, and jumped on the tram home to check in with Julia, where you go in, everyone's talking about how they're about to do flight tests for the ship. And when you talk to Julia, she's like, so you're going in for the final battle. I'm coming.
Yeah.
Which, a surprise, I didn't know that was going to happen. Like, 11th hour, Julia's like, I want to join the party.
And she's not the only one.
As soon as she says that, Mueller gets jealous and he's like, I'm going to join the party too.
Mm-hmm.
That was very lovely of them. I did not use them once.
I did not either. I do like that Mueller says, to be honest, my main concern is allowing a certain imbecile to wander around unsupervised. Like, Julie's like, yes, I feel like I should be see what's going on here. Like, everything's gone along well enough in the RSA that, like, they don't really need me for this. Repairs are going well. And, I might learn something useful in the Access Pillar. And Mueller's just like, I need to watch Olivier. I can't trust this motherfucker.
Yeah, if there's buttons, he's going to press them and we don't know what's going to happen.
Before I went anywhere, though, I did do a check-in with some people around the ship.
Oh, yep.
And I found Jin and Olivier drinking together.
Yes. I think Jin's reminiscing. He's like, I didn't expect to get to have another drink with you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, all of the revelations about you. That's crazy, man.
It's like, man, I kind of feel sorry for the people of Erebonnia that you're their prince.
Yeah. I feel sorry for Vander Mueller because, Mueller-Vander, I can never get his name right.
It's all right.
He's the one Erebonian who suffers the most for this prince.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
But yeah, Olivier's like, oh yeah, like I wanted to play the charade for longer, but time crunch means I've kind of got to accelerate things and get back to real life.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, this is his last hurrah as Olivier, but that coat's still sitting in the back of his closet ready for roleplay.
Oh yeah. I also found that there's a new newspaper somehow.
What? Really?
There's a new issue of the Liberal News, yeah, covering what happened in... Now, this might have been available from the start of the chapter, but it's covering what happened last chapter.
Oh, okay. I might have grabbed it earlier then.
About in Grand Cell, and it just kind of covers that battle. I still am trying to figure out how they're publishing these.
Yep.
And why there's one on the RSA. When did somebody on the RSA be like, let's go down to the Liberal News and make sure we pick up the latest issue?
I mean, we do have Dorothy and Niall on board. Maybe they were writing them out by hand and they've just, taken up a table in the corner of the mess to, quickly pump out some newspapers for everyone on board.
This is true. But it covers what happened in Grand Cell. It covers, that Claudia's been vested as heir to the throne, and that Professor Russell has developed the zero field generators and is working on making bigger versions of them, basically, so that everyone can have one. And then I went into the Access Pillar. What about you?
I did a brief lap around the ship just to kind of see what was going on, but mostly everyone's just talking about the flight test coming up. Faye and the professor are working together in the lab to kind of do final checks. It's a little disappointing that dialogue is just kind of static throughout the dungeon.
Yeah.
I kind of hoped we'd get updates or even just come back and find out that they did the initial test and, we managed to get the ship to hover and that's the first success or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get the progression, but it is very static, which is odd considering how much this game wants you to keep going back to the ship throughout this dungeon.
Yeah, it is a bit...
But I sort of did a lap of the ship. No one was really saying anything interesting. I was going to sort of grab a couple of people to fast level them in that super leveling spot that I discovered last time in Tunnels 2, which I think I described incorrectly last episode, so sorry about that. It was at the start of Tunnel 2, not the end. So it was you go through one screen past one of those meatball gremlins, and then there was that spot with the spinning ice cream cone guys, who, there are so many shining palms. It was every second or third fight I would get one, which was crazy.
Oh my god.
Very satisfying to do one battle and have, at one point, I think it was Kevin go from level 78 to 84 in a single battle.
Oh, that's real nice.
Yeah, good stuff. But other than that, I wrapped things up at the RSA, bought a couple more healing items, stocked up on reviving items, because I'm gonna need them, and then made my way to the Access Pillar.
Yeah. I also stocked up on some ingredients, really, so I could cook.
Yeah, so ran up, did that fight with the riot arms at the door of the pillar. Interestingly, I noticed that you can actually run from this fight.
Oh, interesting.
It's set up like a boss battle, but you can actually run.
I had no idea.
Because I did it by accident, as I so often do. I scrolled incorrectly, and there's no, are you sure on the run button, so off I ran.
Did you run past it, or did you still have to start it again?
They still block the way, but you can just kind of, say, oop, nope, I haven't got the right party for this, and just kind of beat feet.
Yeah, interesting.
Which I'm glad I did, because when I first walked in, I'd forgotten to heal up, so everyone was not doing well. But luckily, I was able to make a mistake and fix it.
Serendipity.
Well, after that, we head inside the Access Pillar, which is another kind of spin on the overall aesthetic of the city. It's kind of very high-end, like royal feeling with like the green
Yeah.
and gold floors, especially. It
Mhm.
feels like a very big important building. Everything's a bit more detailed and kind of embellished than the rest of the city. Oh, and there's these pools of liquid running underneath all of the platforms of like a greenish gel type stuff, which I believe it's our favorite CSI Joshua who's like, ah, yes, that is orbal energy enriched goo that helps run the pillar or something.
A liquid medium for concentrated orbital power. Just don't touch it barehanded. So it looks like rivers, like weird rivers running through this building almost.
And Estelle was immediately like, I want to touch it. And Joshua says, no, beloved girlfriend, do not touch the evil electricity goo. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
Mako from the live stream in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Don't stick your hand in it.
It's like Mako, or like, what was it? What is that in the Superman movie? The new Superman movie, the like anti-gravity river or whatever it was that in the like,
Oh, yeah, the quantum something or other.
yeah, it would probably do the same thing to you if you touched it. That's kind of the vibe I got.
Please do not melt yourself, Estelle.
The same thing it would do to a person, not to Superman. Superman's harder to kill than that. So, my team that I had here, for the record, and I think you'll have had the same team as me, Estelle and Joshua are mandatory, and I brought Chloe and Olivier here.
Yes.
If you look at any guides, they give you a hint that there's going to be a bunch of bosses coming up, and depending on who your
Yes.
party members are for each boss, there may be some additional dialogue.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of knew who was going to be at the end of every segment of this dungeon because we knew who we should bring, and that's who we brought.
I'm very appreciative that the guide mentions that this is a thing because the game
Yeah.
in no way makes you aware of it.
No, it does not.
There's no hint that you should bring specific party members or that there could be unique dialogue. There's no preemptive like warning of who the next enforcer is. You just walk into
Yeah.
a cutscene and immediately get into a fight. So you have no chance to kind of say, oh, this is the Walter fight. I should go back and get Jin. Or this is the Lucy fight. Yeah.
And there's like really significant story stuff. Like really, it's not just a few lines of dialogue. Like it's enormous.
Yeah, this isn't like flavor text when you have different party members tagging along. This is like you miss an entire chunk of the story.
It's like massive story beats and reveals.
Yeah, if you don't bring the right people. So, backseat designing, second chapter remake, I really hope there's some better sort of flagging of what's coming up.
I imagine there will be.
Even if it's just, the mission markers say like, approach for the fight with enforcer number blah, Luciola or whatever.
Or if you have like some party banter being like, oh, I wonder who it is, or I wonder if we'll be seeing Luciola again, or something
yeah.
like that. That kind of gives a hint that you can, even if it's not directly telling you Lucy's next, like something that,
Yeah.
if you're paying any attention at all, you know, okay, that's them telling us who it is.
Yeah, because if you were playing like a real grown-up gamer and not reading a guide every step of the way, you would have no clue what you're missing, which is
Exactly.
frustrating because some of this stuff is really good.
Really good.
So yeah, after telling Estelle not to touch the goo, Chloe also mentioned at this point that the inside of the building looks a lot like an orbment as well. It seems like one big piece of tech. So we head up a level and run into Blue Blanc almost immediately.
Well, yeah, we have like, we do 2 floors, but the floors are pretty straightforward. Like, they're just a straight line.
Yeah.
Each floor of this dungeon. Usually it'll be like a segment where there's some monsters, and then a segment with one monster and a bunch of chests, and then another segment with a bunch of monsters, and then a room where there's the door to keep going. One door is like blocked off, and the other you can go outside, and when you go outside, there's a boss. I did find one chest that made me laugh. We've probably seen it before, but it did make me giggle because it's a bad pun. Where it said, I had saved some coffee for you, but then it was taken in a mugging.
Yeah, that was the one that I saved as well.
I'm a simple girl of simple pleasures.
I love a pun.
Me too.
Now, as we move up, most of the monsters aren't that tough. They're just kind of slow to take down. I was avoiding fights for the most part because at this point I had my party at or around level 90 and wasn't really struggling with fights. So I was really only like charging CP and then moving on, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I do wish I had accumulated more Zerum capsules in this game because I got to the end and realized I only had 2 and they come in really handy.
They do. I had 2 Zerum powders, which are the 100 CP restoring, and 2 Zerum capsules. And that's all I had to work with.
I had like 7 of the powders, probably because like I just haven't used a single one throughout the entire game.
I think I had used some, yeah.
Yeah, because you're a reasonable gamer.
I've gotten better at this. I used to be really bad about it.
So we get up to this like outdoor platform that has a PC on it, basically.
Yeah.
And Blue Blanc just waiting to ambush us. He gives his little speech. We get the custom dialogue where he's like, I see you brought both my love interest and my rival along.
You also get, I just want to point out that when Estelle sees him, she goes, pervert mask guy. This is a trend where she calls people, doesn't call enforcers by their name for a while. It's really, it's really funny. And I love nothing. Imagine the indignity of being bleu blanc. You've planned this entrance. You're all excited to do this. And then you just get called, a little girl points at you and goes, pervert mask guy. Just completely takes the wind out of your sails.
Accurate but hurtful. So Josh questions why Blue Blanc is here. It's like, of all these people, you have the least stake in this shit. And all enforcers work on a volunteer basis, apparently.
Yeah.
Nobody actually has to follow orders. It's all just by choice, which is a wild setup. But Blue Blanc's like, well, I'm here to steal something of great importance, of great beauty. And it's our hope. He wants to steal the hope and the light from our eyes and see us crumble. And yeah, he just kind of pontificates for a bit and then he's ready to fight along with...
He's so weird.
Which archaisms did he bring? I can't even remember.
Some of the balancing clowns, I think.
Oh, the fucking clowns, yeah.
We also get a great line from Estelle. She goes, you want hope? Fine, here's some hope to the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, this basic idea is that, there's nothing more beautiful than the hope right before despair. Right when you think you have a chance, and I want to see that. It's very weird. He's a total freak. I love him, but he's a total freak.
Absolute freak. He also introduces a new status effect that I have not seen throughout this entire goddamn game.
Wait, I don't even remember what this was. I played it a week ago.
Which is that he can shrink you down to mini size.
Oh yeah! There was an enemy that can do this. That might have been a floor later though. But I found another enemy at some point that does this. It just shrinks your characters, but it's so funny.
I assume it means that your physical attacks are much weaker at this point. I was just curing it straight away because I didn't want to find out.
They didn't seem that much weaker, but...
There is another variant that I think that same enemy that you mentioned can do, which is instead of making them tiny, he makes them fat.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
It's so weird. They've I've got a screenshot. I'll send it to you when I get to it. But yeah, where the miniature one shrinks them down to 50% size, the fat one, which uses the same sort of status effect symbol, it keeps their head the same, but the body sprite gets widened to about 150%.
Oh my god, what even?
I think it slows down their movement, and agility is the main thing, but it doesn't show any sort of on-screen markers, and I forgot to check the tooltips. So
that's so
it's
weird.
Just a weird status effect. It's tiny and fat. We waited to the last dungeon to introduce, and I have never seen these in a subsequent game.
No.
So maybe we just tried it and then gave up.
Maybe somebody pointed out that's kind of fatphobic.
Yeah, it's a bit...
a little bit.
Yeah. But after he shrinks us and we spend a while fighting him, he's not that tough. He creates some clones and stuff. He does all his usual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you take him down and we manage to crack his stupid pervert mask.
We do. We crack the stupid pervert mask. Ha 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 ha.
We get to see his eye for the first time. He has bright red eyes, which did raise the question, is he red-eyed naturally or is he under the control of Weissman?
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone gets red eyes, usually without the pupils, but if he's partly on board, maybe it's different. But it doesn't seem any different than he normally does. So either he's been controlled this whole time or he just has red eyes like Estelle. But yeah, once we've beaten him to a bloody pulp, he gets kind of pissed about his mask shattering and says he's just gonna dip. He does his little rose teleport away. He says, I hope you continue to succeed. You bested me after all.
Before he heads off, though, something worth noting, I guess, in terms of what he and Olivier's dialogue is going back and forth about. Claudia's always been the power of bonds and hope or whatever. And Olivier keeps coming back to, do you see the beauty and power of love? They are kind of setting up this debate between Olivier and Bleu Blanc about the concept of love. That's kind of seems to be they're I believe love is the most beautiful thing and I don't, or because Olivier keeps harping on this idea of love. His unique lines are all I'll show you the power of love, which is very gay of him.
Once he's made his dramatic statements and left, we can turn on the weird ancient PC obelisk thing.
And Joshua does say that, despite what a freak he is, he does have his own kind of honor code that he's not going to go back on his word. Once he says, I'll let you keep going, I'm not going to interfere anymore, we can trust that he's not going to turn around and be but I'll stab you in the back.
There are as many moralities in Zemuria as there are genders.
Sexualities, yeah.
But after he's had his moment, we activate the machine. It unlocks that locked gate to go up to the next level.
Yes, it does.
And also a fast travel teleport that takes you back to the beginning of the dungeon, which is about to come in very handy because we need to make a return trip before going to the next boss fight to switch up our party.
We sure do.
I swapped out Chloe and Olivier for Jin and Shara because they have the next 2 boss fights and just seem safer than having to back and forth every time. Because the thing is, like, while you do have that fast travel, what you have to do is you have to go back to the teleporter, teleport to the bottom of the Axis pillar, run all the way across the bridge from the Axis pillar, go to the subway station, catch the subway back to the district that your ship is in, leave the subway station, run up to the ship, find someone to talk to, change your party, change your orbments, unlock more slots and build more quartz, and then go back the whole way. God, it's like, I miss when we were complaining about them just not moving the checkpoint further into the final dungeon last game. This time they're like, fuck you, you don't get nothing.
No. At least there's a teleport to the beginning of the dungeon.
That's something, yeah.
That's it. But also, the road from the elevator to the Axis pillar is like the longest fucking roadway in this entire floating city. It's like 2 screens of road of just nothing but walking straight. I did just want to shout out that while I was on the RSA, I chatted with Josette, who is now in the like mechanical room, and she says that Kyle was really impressed with that old with LeBurle's #1 engineer, which is like clearly Professor Russell was helping them with the Bobcat, and I do love that she's correcting herself. She's like, I mean, the #1 engineer in LeBurle, I wasn't gonna call him an insult. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, Josette's great. Like, she's just like, I love that old bitch. I mean, man.
Yeah.
But yes, once I'd rebuilt my party with the biggest man and the whippiest lady, I headed back into the tower. Again, I only found one chest that really stood out on the journey up to the next boss battle. For me, it was, looks like another open and shut case.
Yeah. I did see the chest is pleased that you have returned. You can be its friend, its special awake friend. There's something weirdly horny about that message.
Yeah.
Your chest special friend. And I'm not sure. Do I like it? I don't know, but I felt compelled to save it. So there's that.
Yeah, a lot of repeat messages in here.
Yep.
We only have a handful of like unique messages remaining as we sort of get to the end of the list of chest message references or whatever in the system.
Yeah.
So a lot of repeats. I remember seeing the one about like the chest is weirdly warm inside, which is one of my least favorites because it's so gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, after doing another couple of laps to go up to the 4th floor, we reach the next boss battle with our good friend Walter the Direwolf.
Yes, exactly. He is tired of waiting for us up here. And Joshua has to call him the Direwolf because everyone has to call each other by their title in these games.
It actually seems like he's correcting Estelle each time because as they run up again, she gives
which
her
is
title, which is Sunglasses Guy. And then Joshua comes in afterwards and says, Walter the Direwolf. So it just seems like he's correcting her every time.
My screenshot didn't upload for that because I remember that now. And that was the Sunglasses Guy. Like, she just like points and shouts her own nickname for people, regardless of what they're actually called. And it's so good.
Yeah, we get another fight against Walter. This one kind of tough, actually.
Yeah.
Because he hits hard.
He does.
And you really need to manage it because he has a couple of archaisms with him as well that are pretty meaty that take a while to take down.
Yes.
But eventually you do take him down. I kind of had to chip away at Walter for a while, just like managing a lot of downed party members because he kept smacking him too quickly for me to like heal them up.
Yeah.
Very inconsiderate. Also because I think in this party setup, like Estelle was the only real magic user for the setup that I was using.
I had Shara as magic user too, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I think she had some spells, but not as many. Oh, that's right. He has the knife dogs. That's the enemy he has.
Yes, that's right. Knife dogs.
The ones that like shout and stuff.
Oh, shout. I heard shat, like past tense of shit for a second. And I was like, I mean, dogs do shit, but I didn't notice them doing that on my screen.
After the boss fight, though, we're not done. Walter's like, ha ha ha, I am strong. You can't beat me. And Jin steps forward. It's like, okay, it's time to have a punch off.
Yes, we also get sort of an explanation finally from Jin of like why he is saying like your talents are the reason you can't beat me. It's not just this idea that like the two styles are like so opposed. It's also he's like you've never you've always been so naturally talented as a fighter, so incredibly gifted that you've never practiced or had the discipline that you needed to have. Like, you've always kind of slacked off because you were such a genius that, like, you didn't ever put in all the effort you needed. Whereas I, like, didn't come to me as naturally as it came to you. So I've always put in all the work.
The quote from Jin is actually pretty good. He says, the way of the fist is built on training, always training, so that it comes as naturally as breathing. That's why even I, your lesser, can strike you. Because he's just relying on, like, instinct or just, like, natural skill. He's not really thinking, he's just letting it happen. And that's why, sure, he can take you out in one punch, but if you can dodge that punch, he's kind of at a loss.
Exactly.
They square up for their big fight.
He talks about why he fought with the master. He says that the master told him that Jin is actually better than him.
Yes.
He also explains that their master wanted Jin to inherit the school, and Walter not only was offended by that, but the idea that you could to be with Kilika but not inherit the school was like felt like such a slap in the face. She wouldn't accept that.
She wouldn't be on board with it, yeah.
So Walter demanded a match with Jin to fight a successor. And their master was like, Jin unconsciously submits to you in all things, in, like, affairs of the heart and martial arts, which kind of implies that Jin also had feelings for Kilika. Not clear if that's sort of what he's getting at.
Yeah.
Basically, the master was like, you wouldn't actually be fighting Jin if you challenged Jin, because Jin wouldn't fight you fully. Like, he would unconsciously be submitting. So the master decided, instead, I'll fight the death match with you in Jin's place. And then we learned something else crazy.
Jin drops an additional bombshell, which is that the master had learned right before this whole thing went down with the fight to the death that he had terminal cancer.
Which feels like a real whiplash moment when you're playing a fantasy game and somebody's just like, terminal cancer. Like, that's so...
Oh, they've got cancer here? Okay.
Yeah. Which makes sense, obviously. Like, when you think about it, like, there's no reason... Like, if people can get a cold in a fantasy world, of course they could get cancer. But you don't tend to see that, partially because I think we think of fantasy worlds as, like, the Middle Ages, or as... we think of them as being at a time before they knew what cancer was. So I think you don't see it often. But in the world where they've got, like, advanced technology, of course they would know what cancer is.
Yeah. I don't remember in Crossbell going into that hospital and finding the orbal chemotherapy room, but it probably exists.
Yeah, they might have had cancer patients in there. I don't remember if they call it out by name.
I guess the master was like, okay, well, I want to go out with a bang. I don't want to die quietly of cancer. I want to die doing what I love, which is fighting. Which is why he sort of, like, subbed himself in for the fight with Jin.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, cancer is such a horrible, long death. It's a long death, it's painful, it's scary.
It is, yeah.
You lose control over your faculty, especially for someone who, not just especially for, like, for anybody, but I can imagine that for somebody who his discipline over his physical body was, like, the entire purpose of his being, looking down the barrel of gradually losing all control over your body and, like, any just becoming, like, inhabiting a body you don't recognize has to be so terrifying when the discipline over your body has been your entire life. So he committed suicide by Walter, which is a pretty messed up thing to do. A lot of people, unfortunately, can't imagine what it's like to face down a terminal diagnosis. I can't. And so it's hard for me to stand here in judgment of the choices you make too harshly.
Yeah, Jin even calls out, like, this is kind of fucked up. Like,
that was very selfish of him.
Use you as his, like, weapon of suicide.
Yeah.
So that wasn't great from the master's side, but you still did murder him. At this point, he's like, all right, square up. We're gonna, like, do a punch-on-punch to see who's gonna win this, like, anime showdown.
Before Jin says one thing I wanted to talk, because I think it's really interesting, where Jin says, when you think about it, trying to perfect yourself in fighting and discipline, whatever, that is actually an inherently selfish thing, which I think is a really interesting... I mean, he's saying that as martial artists. He's saying that all of us, as martial artists, as warriors, whatever, who are obsessed with becoming the strongest, there is something selfish about that pursuit, which is kind of the opposite. Like, you're always hearing about, like, martial arts and stuff in terms of, like, enlightenment and, like, you know, becoming in touch with the world and the discipline or whatever.
Yeah.
It is kind of refreshing to hear Jin be like, there is something selfish about devoting your entire life to wanting to be the strongest, no matter how you dress it up in the philosophies of various martial arts schools. It is a self-serving pursuit.
Exactly, yeah. It's very self-centered. So they square up for their punch-off. They do their big shout.
Mm-hmm. We love
And
that.
then they do the cool anime thing where they punch past each other and then they both stop and you have to wait to see who's going to fall.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it's Jin. He drops to his knees. And so we're like, oh no, Walter has won. And then a second later, he just kind of fully keels over, drops onto his back.
All of us were freaked out. And then Walter's like, you idiot. You were holding back that much. And then he pulls out a cigarette, goes, why does this stuff have to taste so good? And then collapses on his back. Like, the fact that he has a drag of a cigarette and then falls dramatically down is so funny. It is so campy of him. And then you can even see, like, his sprite collapse on the ground. The cigarette's at his foot. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah. They've got a custom animation of him, like, dropping the cigarette and then falling, which is very cool. We have a lot of cute little custom animations in this final dungeon, actually.
Yes, we do.
He's down, and I can't remember, do we just leave him there on the ground, or does he leave as well?
No, we leave him there. Jin says Walter will be out for a while, so we can just leave him here.
Just throw him off the side. Come on. This guy sucks. But after that, again, hit the button, open the gate, we can keep moving on.
Not after his dramatic post-coital cigarette / battle coital cigarette. That won him some points for me.
His post-foital cigarette?
That's so bad, I love it.
Thank you. Now, in this next section of the tower, the pillar, sorry, it's not a tower, it's a pillar.
Right.
I ran into an enemy type that I developed an utter fucking hatred for.
Oh boy, who was it?
Which is the coin flip guys.
Oh, right.
Fuck them.
What happens with them? Because I just would kill them with one hit every time.
They have a basic attack, but they do a coin flip move, which is like a randomizer, similar to Shara's new S-Craft.
Oh, okay.
Some of it can damage you, like a big fire explosion. Some of it can heal you, or give you a bit of CP. But the kicker is, one of them is that it will remove 100 CP from all of your party members, which is goddamn shitty.
That is shitty. They never live long enough to do that for me.
It takes a while to earn it back up because, like, I was at a point where these enemies weren't that tough, so I wasn't getting in that many strikes per fight.
Yeah.
So it was taking a number of fights, and so I got to a point where it's just anytime one of those guys was in the party, I would just leave and re-enter the fight until they weren't.
Fair enough, honestly. Because
it just wasn't worth the risk when I'm trying so desperately to rank up like 200 CP before the next fight. Yeah. And Joshua's the only one with even a chance because he's got the earn CP every turn accessory.
Yeah.
Oh, and here I have a screenshot of the tiny and fat status condition, so I'll send that through for you.
Oh my god. Show me.
Look at bloated Estelle.
Oh my god, that's so weird. And then is that a tiny Shara next to her? So it's that's tiny Shara and Jin, and then bloated Estelle, and then that's so weird.
And just regular Josh off to the side.
Yeah.
I specifically noted that like when you pivot the camera and face them front on, like the head is still normal. It's just the body that's been expanded. So it looks so weird.
That is bizarre.
Not my favorite status effect.
That's a little unnecessary, yeah.
But after that, a few more stories up. We're on level 6 at this point, where we run into our next gated progress moment, and it's time to head outside for another boss fight. Another boss fight.
And this one, I think by now, it's kind of, I mean, obviously, given the fact that we have Shara with us, it's clear who it's going to be, but also, like, I think it's pretty clear that Ren, Luve, and Weissman are going to be the end, so it's not a huge surprise that Lucy would be next since we've seen Walter and Blue Blanc already.
Yeah. So as we approach her, we hear her telltale bell dingle.
Dingle.
Which is just her calling card. And then we approach and find her there waiting for us.
She's shocked that we got past Blue Blanc and Walter. She's like, I actually didn't think you could. And Cheryl's like, hey, wait, you told me you were going to tell me about what happened with Mr. Harvey. Yeah. You don't try to talk about something else. This is what you're going to do. And Lucille is like, well, let me begin with a question. What kind of man was Harvey to you? Cheryl's like, what are you talking about? Like, he was basically my father. He saved me from the streets. He was everything.
Sweet and perfect and kind.
And so Lucy's like, yes, he was all those things. But see, being a circus, it can't be that much alone. Just that doesn't bring in enough money. So the money needs to be supplemented with, you know, performers doing other lines of work. And so it's framed so that you think it's going to be like Harvey was secretly like pimping out like Lucy and other people or whatever. And that's why she killed him. That's kind of how it's framed. But then she goes, but Harvey was insistent on being honest about it. And we're like, okay. So you think we were going to the reveal that Harvey was like secretly a scumbag, but no. And then Harvey went into a huge amount of debt and used his private money and like private guarantees and stuff like that, trying to keep things afloat. He ran up a bunch of debt and was going to leave the troop to save everyone so that his creditors weren't gonna come after the circus.
Yeah, he was going to leave the circus to like a wealthy benefactor friend or something.
Yeah.
So that the circus itself wouldn't suffer and he could just, I don't know, go on the lam from the debt collectors so that he wouldn't put anyone at risk.
Lucy is then like...
Yeah, she felt betrayed by this. She's like, oh, if you love us so much and you're there for us always, why was it so easy for you to leave? And she says, that's why I killed him. Like, I felt betrayed that he was just going to abandon us as though it was no big deal. And that's why I put him in the ground.
She's like, yeah, if he's going to do this, then I'd rather he never have helped us in the first place.
Yeah.
Why would the person who gave us peace and happiness then take it away? And Sharon makes a very good point when she's like, okay, but what about me? You and Harvey were the ones who gave me peace and happiness, and then I lost both of you in one fell swoop. Mm-hmm. That's an even worse betrayal. And Lucy's like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I did kind of really betray you by abandoning you. That's fucked up. Well, you should hate me.
So many of these enforcers are instantly defeated by just like, have you considered empathy?
Uh-huh.
Seeing something from another's perspective? And they're like, oh shit, yeah, that is a thing. Crazy. So we go into the fight with Luciola and her fog beast friends.
Lucy's S-Craft has her, like, as a giant in front of the... It's so funny. I don't know. This is a screenshot.
And she, like, breathes fire on them.
It's like Godzilla.
It's great. It's a new S-Craft, too, because she had a different one in the previous fights, right?
I mean, I guess the Enforcers are also leveling up.
Yeah.
And, getting new crafts.
So I found this fight actually tough, because it's, the thing with her fog beasts where one's, like, immune to spell attacks and the other one heals from physical damage.
Yeah.
Plus there's some other smaller ones that keep getting summoned.
No, this is a huge pain in the ass fight.
Yeah, it's just like constantly having to knock down the crowd just so you have a chance to focus on Luciola. I did not expect her to be a tough fight, because coming into this I was like, why are you the third boss after Walter? Shouldn't it be like ramping difficulty?
She also has this horrifically annoying attack where she like trades places with one of your party members so that when you try to hit her, it turns out to be your party member, and she just like has a bunch of clones that appear. I eventually figured out if I cast Clock Down on the real Luciola, then the rest of them wouldn't have the status effect, and so I could just follow whoever had that status effect. And once you hit the real one, all of her clones disappear.
Thank God, yeah.
But, oh my god, it's annoying. Like, it's like, okay, I guess she did deserve to be the third, because she was definitely harder than the other two.
No, I learned the hard way about her little trick because I tried to S-Craft wipe the entire battlefield. Yeah. Which meant that she's traded places with 2 subsequent party members at once.
Oh dear.
And got them both killed.
Wow.
Which is not great.
What a bitch.
So this was another fight where I had to use a lot of my reviving balm type stuff.
Yeah.
Until I was like, do I just like let myself die and retry this? But no, I just persevered.
Good job.
And eventually able to take her down. After the fight, we get another little bit of dialogue between her and Shara. And again, like, what the fuck would this have looked like if you didn't have Shara in the party right now?
Right. So Shara first starts by being like, by the way, I don't hate you. It's just that you broke my heart. But I also can't quite believe that that's all there is to the story of why you killed him. Mm-hmm. And Lucy's like, oh no, I guess there was more. And tells us that she was in love with Harvey, and Harvey only saw her as a daughter, and she was also really mad at being rejected. Like, Lucy's such a character. I actually quite enjoy Luciola, but I also enjoy that they're like, give us opportunities to make her more sympathetic and then deliberately make her less sympathetic so she comes off more like sociopathic.
She is such a messy bitch because like she says, oh yeah, I wanted to be with Harvey, but he saw me as a daughter, not a romantic prospect. And he's like, oh no, you should find someone who's more suitable for you, probably more your age, and then you can be happy that way. And she's like, well, I couldn't be with him, and I didn't want to be like fixed up with someone else as like a substitute. So yeah, I murdered him.
So that he could never leave me, so that he'd be mine forever, I gave in to the urges and took his life with my own hands. Can you imagine this line from a man? Like a man saying this about a girl? This is actually horrifically, like, too common in real life. Like, this is the part that makes it quite disturbing, is when I think about how many men murder women out of this kind of jealousy, anger, rejection. Yeah. But she says this is the moment she realized how much darkness she had inside of her, which is what led her to Ouroboros. Yeah,
she says something about, like, giving into her urges or something. Like, this is a thing that was always in me, and I finally had an excuse, basically.
Okay. Have you ever seen Riverdale?
A little bit.
So I've only seen a little bit, but I found out, I once went on a deep dive of the craziest things that happened in it, and in one season, they reveal that Betty has, quote, the serial killer gene, which is not a real thing, but it's like a genetic thing in her like DNA that makes you a serial killer. And so they're always like, the serial killer gene might activate in you, Betty. And that darkness is inside you. So that's what I'm thinking about with Luciola. Luciola has the serial killer gene.
I guess now we know where Riverdale got the idea. Someone on there was a real big Trails fan.
And then Lucy's dramatically like, it led me here, and now it leads to the end.
And another great choice from Luciola. She just, like, tips backwards off the edge of the tower, like Walter should have. Just decides she's going to plummet to her death. Shara disagrees.
Yeah.
And jumps forward, like, uses a whip to grab her. Finally using a whip to do something besides abuse children, which is really nice of her.
Or Duke Junan. She had a right to abuse Duke Junan with it. She sometimes used it for good.
Okay, no, that one's fair, yeah. So then we have another conversation as she's hanging by her wrist off the side of this, like, hundreds of meters tall platform.
Yeah.
She basically says, oh yeah, like, I regret leaving you, Shara, and I'm really sorry about that.
Sorry, babe.
Everyone else is sort of diving forward, trying to help pull her up. And she says, well, no, I don't think so.
And then she's like, I also don't regret killing Harvey.
Yeah, I regret leaving you. I don't regret killing Harvey. Anyway, bye! And she cuts the whip with her fan and plummets to her death, asterisk.
She has one more great line. The last thing she says to Shara before seemingly going to her death is, Shara, dear, remember, liquor is nice, but do try to moderate yourself, all right? Hee hee. And then she does this suicide drop. Like, what the hell?
It's like, I'm sorry I left you. I don't regret the murder I did. You're a drunk. Deuces.
Like, my God, Shara's gonna be so fucked up.
What a mixed message at the end, yeah. It's like, I'm sorry I left you. You're a terrible person. Then she cuts the whip, falls to her death, at which point we hear a dingle-dingle of a bell.
Now, to be clear, we're saying to her death because the game throws doubt on whether she's dead or like, suggests it's possible, but it's not clear if Shara's being delusional or if she actually has reason to think that. We're kind of thinking, like...
They're leaving the door open, basically, yeah. They specifically have her little bell ring to imply that she could be casting an illusion and actually got,
yes,
I don't know, saved by Louvet's dragon or something. Or otherwise, maybe she was just never hanging off the edge and she was just, like, sneaking off to the side.
Yeah.
But, yes, even afterwards, Shara's like, everyone's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And Shara's like, wait a minute, let's just hang on. Like, Lucy's always got a plan.
There's two ways to read this, though, right? You could read this as Shara's onto something, or you could read this as Shara's in denial. Like, you can absolutely read this as Shara's, like, convincing herself that her sister didn't just commit suicide in front of her because she knows that she can't crash out right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Estelle's line is even pretty kind of, like, manic. She's like, oh, yeah, maybe totally. she landed on something, or maybe it was an illusion. She's probably fine.
She can teleport. She has teleporting magic, yeah. That's what Estelle says, too.
Also acting like all the enforcers can't yeet-a-port off the side of buildings as well.
This is true. They do enjoy a good yeet-a-port. And Jin is like, you don't have to pretend, Shara. Like, you should go back to the RSA and get some rest. And Shara's like, Lucy would laugh at me if I did that. So let's keep going. However, I did take her back to the RSA and trade her out then because this was the end of my Shara and Jin stint.
Yes. So yeah, I traded in Tita and Agate for the next round.
Me too. I also checked in with a few people.
Oh, yeah.
Olivier is now also saying that he's sure he'll see Blah Blah again because they have to settle on a true definition of beauty.
Uh-huh.
Jin is talking about how Walter is more talented at martial arts, but what matters isn't the disparity in power, but how you use power. Mm. And then we can talk to Shara once she's out of the party, and Joshua's the one actually asking if she's all right. And Shara says, I'm okay, I've got my feelings in order, or, at least I think I do. Joshua, it's quite actually sweet that Joshua is doing the little brother thing here. He's like, please don't feel the need to push yourself on our account. And Cher's like, oh man, the kindness only comes out when we vulnerable waifs are having a hard time of it. Most girls would rather you were like this all the time, And I'm like, okay, Cher, what is this?
That's mean, because this is absolutely Josh speaking from experience. He's like, hey, I know you're overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to shut down and kind of go on autopilot and just do what you think is right without really examining the situation. You know, what he's been doing the entire game. He's speaking from experience.
It's also like, Joshua would never not check in on someone he cares about. This is normal Joshua behavior. To be like, hey, that was awful. Are you okay?
Yeah. Cher's acting like he's about to turn around and go, Whitman. But it's not that.
Or like he's only being nice because she seems like vulnerable and delicate right now.
I mean, it would be unusual for Shara, sure, but it's not change your entire approach different.
Yeah.
But
then we go back.
With our party checked on and our new members added, it was time to hike back to the pillar again.
Yep.
to head up to our next boss fight on like the 8th floor at this point.
Yes.
Which is our friend Ren is waiting for us at the next gate.
Baby girl's here. Yeah, we did have. There's another new enemy on this floor that we meet. It's called an armored compy, which is just very weird looking.
Oh yeah, those ones are gross.
And I did get a chest called. I think I've seen this before, but I'm calling it out anyway. Inside the empty chest is carved, Olivier is handsome. You briefly wonder if he put that there himself.
Yeah, I think that was in one of the towers the first time around.
Could be.
Like the Tetracyclics. I got another one that I think is a repeat as well. It was just, I waited 4 years for this game and all I got was this stupid chest message.
Yes, I've seen that before, but I like that one.
A nice little reference to the fact that, unlike the Japanese release, there was a 4-year gap between first and second chapter for the English-speaking nations.
Man.
So you were hanging on that cliffhanger for like almost half a decade. That's crazy.
ADS's strongest soldiers, honestly.
Yeesh.
So as we head outside onto the outside part, the boss fight part of this floor, we hear a girl's voice saying, hee hee, you did make it. And Cheetah's like, ah!
Mm-hmm.
And Josh was like, yeah, I thought it'd be you next. And Ren's kind of, taunting like, it must have been really hard to beat the others, but I knew you guys would get here. And this could actually go really easy for you, but I think it all depends on you, Estelle. It's easy, silly. Just take back what you said about me before.
Yeah, she's really obsessing on that.
She's really fucked up about it. And as we'll remember, what Estelle said last time was basically, it's really wrong that you're in the society. They're manipulating you and taking advantage of you. That's not okay. You're a kid.
Yeah.
And Ren crashed out about that, and she's still kind of crashing out about it.
Yeah, she basically says, like, if you apologize and take it back, I will leave, and we don't have to fight, and you can just go on your merry way. But if you don't, I will chop, hurt, grind, murder, kill you.
And Joshua tries to step in first and is like, Ren, even if she says it, doesn't mean she means it. She'd just be saying it to get away. That won't solve things. And it sounds like, no, Josh, it's okay. Hold my beer. Like, I've got this. Do you trust me? And Josh was like, of course I trust you. I trust no one else with a radicalized, brainwashed child than you, except perhaps Cassius. But, you're the expert on this. And so Estelle walks forward, and Ren's like, oh, yeah, you're going to say it. Come on, say it. Say, Ren, you being in society is A-okay. And Estelle goes, Ren, you need to stop bullying people into giving you what you want.
Yeah.
Ren is totally floored by this. And Estelle's like, the world doesn't revolve around just you. It won't always change just because you demand it. And even if you possess incredible power, Ren, and she looks quite sad here. She goes, even if your big powder matter will save you every time you misjudge, even with all that, you can't just change a person's heart on demand. And then Ren's not happy with this, but she's not saying anything yet. And Estelle goes, I admit, maybe I'm just being a selfish doofus for not wanting you in the society. I'm not sure myself. That's why I won't try to force you out. But I want you to realize something. Like Joshua, you can do whatever you want with your life. You're not trapped. You have us always. And Joshua says, that's right. And Ren's really upset about this. She's like, I give you all the chances in the world. You slap them all away. And she powers up when it takes out her scythe. Estelle's like, sorry, everyone. This fight might have been avoidable, but I couldn't avoid this. And Josh was like, no, you told her exactly what I would have wanted you to say. Tita's like, no, you're right. I wouldn't want to leave Ren the way she is any more than you. And so Powder Matter arrives. And Ren, very angry face, goes, all of you then, all my enemies. I hate this, I hate you. I'll rip you, cut you, tear you, make you scream. Powder Matter, full output. Slaughter them all, hold nothing back. Kill them, kill them, kill them! And we go into battle.
Yeah, she's really losing it. She does not like having her worldview challenged, it seems.
No.
So we enter into this fight. Padamata is pretty tough. He's just very, very beefy.
Yeah, this is the strongest we've seen Powder Matter. And Powder Matter can also revive Ren if we knock Ren out, so you have to take out Powder Matter first. I mean, if you can take Ren out first, and then she'll just come back. Yeah,
and she comes back with 10,000 health, so it's not like she's just sitting at the bottom line waiting to be taken out again. No. So I was trying to focus on him. I did end up taking her out accidentally, just with like an area effect attack at one point.
Yeah, me too, actually.
But, at this point, 10,000 is a bit, but it's not that bad at this point, because my party were doing like an average of 1,500 to 2,000 per attack. So, and once you take down Padamata, Ren is not nearly as much of a challenge.
Her offense is strong. Like, she can do a lot of damage, but she's manageable, and she's also very much a glass cannon.
Oh, yeah.
And she's not as much faster than you than she used to be, and her S-Craft does not wipe you out the way it did originally. Like, you can withstand it better.
Yeah, Renade is not quite the devastating attack it used to be, and she doesn't seem to have upgraded to a new S-Craft the way that Lucille did. So after a while of chipping away at Padamata, and taking him down, them down. I guess it's
Yep.
father, mother. It was Ren's turn to go. I think I did make sure that Joshua made the final strike.
I tried to make it Estelle, and then there was like a tiny bit left, so I let Agate do it because he was next to my turn order, and I was like, I can't.
Just coming in with the last minute slap to finish the fight.
That is his expertise, and that is foreshadowing for what's about to happen. Estelle did learn some lessons from Agate, clearly.
Yeah. So after we clear the fight, it's back for some resolution with Ren.
Mm-hmm. She's really upset. How could Padamaru lose?
His legs are broken, it seems. He can't get back up anymore.
She screams, Padamaru! She's like, kill up, stand up, kill them, whatever. And Padamaru starts whirring, intensely, clearly trying to get up and just can't. And that breaks Ren's heart. And Estelle walks up to Ren, who is now, collapsed on the ground, on her knees, kneeling in front of Padamaru. And Ren's just like, what do you want? You want Estelle. You got what you wanted.
Just go to the computer and get going. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Estelle's like, I need to do that, but that can wait a bit. Right now, you're more important. And Ren loses. She's like, oh, shut up. You don't know anything about me. Why? And Estelle's like, because I really care about you, Ren. Okay, step one is something I think needs doing. I'm sorry, this'll be light.
Yep.
Ren's like, huh? And Estelle walks forward and slaps her. Clearly a light slap, as she says, but yeah.
Even the sound effect is a lot lighter than the previous slap. It's just pep. And it's but even then, Ren's like, ow.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but you've had that coming. If there's a child who has been doing slappable behaviors, I think Ren, I guess, is that. I'm still not condoning slapping the child, but Ren has been trying to murder people a lot. This is mild compared to what Ren has been doing. I will say that. And Estelle says, I kind of get the impression you've needed to feel other people's pain for a while now. That's part of growing up, Understanding the pain other people feel. And Ren, with a really sad face, goes, you're just like them. You know you'll hurt me, but you'll still do it. You're the same as those people, the ones who hurt little Ren so much. I hate. But then Estelle goes, is that really what you think?
And then she quotes Sabrina Carpenter and says, have you ever tried this one? And gives her a hug.
Yeah, Ren's like, I don't know if I really think that. And yeah, Estelle's like, how about if I do this? And gives her a hug. And Estelle goes, Ren, you answer how your heart tells you. If it's hate, then all right, but listen to yourself, please. And Ren, it's kind of ... I'm confused. My head is fuzzy, but I don't dislike being hugged, maybe. And Estelle's like, well then. And then Ren suddenly shouts for Padamaru. She goes, Padamaru, to deactivate your leg, actuate some things, and engage booster mode. I think this is disactivate the things in your legs for combat, just go into flying around mode. Yeah,
it's switch off your legs, and I like that he kind of hovers up with his booster cannons and then kind of goes back to a standing position, but the boosters are still going, so they've kind of made sure to highlight he's not leaning on his legs, they just kind of based on the ground, and it's just so that he can do his thing where he puts his hand out for Ren to jump onto. And she's basically like, I need to process all this, so I'm gonna go, bye.
Yeah, I need to go be alone and think. She's like, Estelle, you can go up to the roof. Louv's over there. Joshua, be careful. And she goes, well, I guess I'm going. Tita's like, Ren, no. And Ren says bye to them. I need to go for a bit. And then she goes, but if you die, I'll never forgive you. And then she takes off. Yeah.
She's like, oh, my head's really fuzzy. I need to go. I need to reset.
I need to process.
And I was just sitting there writing in my notes, the deprogramming begins.
Yes, it sure do seem that way.
So Ren's going to go figure some stuff out and process getting hugged for the first time, I guess.
Yeah.
And we can hit our button and keep going.
Yeah.
So I don't think I even had anything to note in the remaining chests between here and the next battle. Oh no, I did have one. The one thing I did highlight at one point, because it just... Do you remember how I was complaining a lot in the final dungeon last game about how I would take an enemy down and they would be brought down to a handful of HP before getting taken out?
Yes.
I had maybe the worst instance of that.
Oh god.
When I had Kevin in my party at this point.
Oh dear.
So I'm just grabbing the screenshot for you.
Oh my god.
So I was trying to get Kevin up a few levels, and he was right at the cusp of going up to level 88 at this point. He had 77,437 XP out of 77,440, and then I got into a battle where I got 2 XP.
That's really sad.
So I was exactly 1 away from the level up, and I was just like, come on, game. You should round up at that point. That's just mean.
Yeah, that's just rude. We should probably say, for our last party comp, we added Kevin and Chloe I think, unless you did something different.
I know I did the same.
And this wasn't for dialogue purposes. This was for, like, just
Combat.
final boss fights for combat, yeah.
Yeah, because to remember, they both have S-crafts that are healing. Chloe has the one where she can revive people and heal a bunch. Or if it's 200 CP, they get revived at full health.
Yeah.
And Kevin's is that he can do one of those like earth wall barriers on everyone.
Yep.
Or 200 CP, you get a double barrier, which I think is the only way you can get that. You can't stack them otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is going to come in very handy in this next fucking fight with Luve.
Oh, yeah. I just spam it.
Oof.
And this is the last opportunity as well to change party members. Like, you can't come back after the next fight.
As we sort of make our way further up, I think I saw like one other cool chest. Oh, wait. I've got a screenshot facing on to Chloe with the fat status.
Oh my god.
So you can see the difference between like the face and the body. There we go.
That looks so weird.
It looks like horny inflation fan art.
Oh my god, it does. Yikes.
I wasn't expecting to see in the core media.
Yeah.
Eey.
Yikes.
But yes, the one chest I found on the way up, I think right before getting to the top, was just, I know you had high hopes for this chest, but it's empty. Don't worry about it though. Maybe the next one will have something great.
And it's the last chest in the game, which is great.
Yeah, it's like the last chest you can find in the game.
I screwed out of that too. But yeah, so head out into the roof. Got my party there. And Luve's standing there.
It's a really, really long elevator compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
The top of the tower is really cool looking. It's got like
a sigil.
All these like fins of technology sticking up. It almost looks like an alien Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And they're all ringed around this big yellow central thing, which has a bunch of like symbols on it and shapes and stuff. It looks very...
It's kind of like an alchemy looking thing.
It looks like an alchemy circle from Full Metal Alchemist almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's sort of like yellow energy pouring out of the center of the tower, like a smoke basically, almost looking like it's like pouring off the sides of the tower or something.
Yeah. And Luve's there and tells us that we're faster than he expected. We're like, well, all your buddies did try to hold us up, but they didn't manage.
Yeah, get good, scrub.
And Luve's like, okay, but the Blade Lord, don't think the Blade Lord is comparable to those you faced before. And it's like, okay, talk about yourself in third person. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that too.
And he's like, yeah, very few can match me in direct confrontation. So I was like, yeah, we're aware.
Been there, done that.
But we also have our reasons to be here. Everyone in the world is counting on us, so we're not backing down either. And
yeah.
Luve's like, yeah, but Joshua's got another reason to be here, don't you, Joshua? And Joshua's like, yep, as you see right through me, I want to face my weakness. And he says, it's what destroyed me while fleeing the pain of Karen's death. It's the reason I continued to follow Weissman's orders without question. All that was born of my own weakness. That's why I'm ready to face you and Weissman head-on, Luve. I feel I owe it to the person who made me face those weaknesses, and I need to fight for what's important to me no matter what.
Yes, he's here to face his demons, including those two guys.
Mm-hmm. And Luve announces that his promise to Karen is now fulfilled, so he can now give everything he has against Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is kind of Luve's way of saying, like, you're okay, and you've come through, and I think you've, like, you no longer need me to protect you. You've fully realized as a human being. You've self-actualized. That sounds great. She's like, but hang on, I still don't understand why it has to be this way. Like, why do we have to fight now to the death or whatever? Luve doesn't really give an answer, other than he's like, I've made my choice, and if you think your strength of conviction is stronger than mine, then show me. And, like, we're all like, yeah, we will, whatever. Bring it on.
Yeah. His answer's basically, because it's a JRPG.
Yeah. Do you want a boss fight?
Oh, boy.
It's a long one.
Oh, God.
It's a really hard one, but... if you have Kevin, it is so much easier than if you don't have Kevin, because Kevin's S-Craft makes all the difference.
Oh, yeah. The first time round, I did this fight once, and he absolutely wrecked me because I didn't get onto, like, setup quick enough.
No.
He took, like, Estelle and Joshua out in one hit together.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredibly crazy. The technique I went with was kind of using Chloe and Kevin as my supports, kind of keeping them to the far extremities of the battlefield as much as possible.
Yeah.
Kevin was focused on doing the Earth Wall Earth Guard thing, the thing that blocks a single attack, after starting the fight by doing his S-Craft to give him 2 layers, which they needed because Luve goes in straight away.
Yep.
And then Chloe was focused on clock-upping everyone to kind of keep moving as fast as possible, especially Kevin, so that he could be pumping out those guards as quickly as they were getting knocked down by Luve and his many clones that he keeps making.
I was also very glad to note that Chloe's craft, debilitating craft, that lowers strength and defense, works on Luve.
Oh.
So I was able to lower his strength and defense by 25% and keep that applied the entire fight.
Damn, I didn't know that.
It was really cool. So I had Chloe would apply that. If that was applied, then Chloe would heal anyone who needs it. And if nobody needed healing, then I would just do whatever crafts. I would usually had her on Death Scream if there was multiple people on the battlefield, because he's also got 2 of the lion things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much.
Estelle and Joshua were on physical attacks. I was, like, impressed with myself that I really pulled through, but I kept everyone in, like, a tight-knit group and let enemies come to me all the time so that the earth walling would be easier.
I was trying to keep, like, Joshua and Estelle together for that, but then keeping Chloe and Kevin as far away as possible.
Makes sense.
Because I found, like, he was, even with his, like, clones, he wasn't attacking frequently enough to really, like, gotcha me. Like, sometimes people would take damage, but never enough to, like, fully down them. And it does feel so good to have him bust out his S-Craft and just have it do absolutely nothing.
Nothing. It's so fun.
Blessed. But this fight is too much. Like, the difficulty spike in this match is so steep because you have Louvet plus his, like, Riot Arms guys, plus he creates 2 clones of himself.
It does make him seem weaker that he brings the Riot Arms.
He doesn't need it. Like, between him having, like, the 60-something health, I think it was, and then his clones, which each have 16,000 a pop, it's a lot to manage, and I was so focused on, like, status maintenance that I wasn't doing much damage round to round, which I don't like that in RPGs. I like to go all offensive because I want to, like, knock you out as quickly as possible. Sure. So I had to fight against my baser instincts here.
Yeah.
But after a slog that honestly makes the remaining boss fights look kind of easy.
Oh, yeah. Comparatively, yeah.
It was finally time to knock stupid Louvet down to his stupid knees.
This is definitely the hardest boss fight in the game. Like, I think that's objectively it is.
It's insane. Like, he's just a menace. He just keeps going and going and going. He's so fast, and there's 3 of him.
It is very diegetic. Like, it is very much like, you do believe that he's, like, the strongest guy around ever. Like, you are like, yeah, he is as strong as they say he is. He's not overhyped as being super strong.
Yes.
Even though he brings some Riot Arms.
Bargain Basement Sephiroth actually has some skills.
We're gonna see another Bargain Basement Sephiroth later, of a different form of Sephiroth, but...
Yeah.
But you knock him down, and Louvet's like, well, you've done well, but not well enough to match me. And he stands back up, and he's fine. You're only here to, your bracers you're just bracers. You exist to protect people. You need to have reached enlightenment to actually fight me. And Joshua steps forward and is like, well, in that case, can we 1v1?
Yeah.
And he's like, Louvet's strong, but he is exhausted from the fight. Like, he's definitely, it's taken a toll on him. And Louvet's like, you're right, I'm slower now. But I wouldn't bet on that being enough for you to beat me. And Josh was like, well, maybe not, but still, let's try it.
Yeah, I love his little speech, yeah. He says, this soul of mine, which was saved by a sister, bound by a professor, freed by a father, and is now one with Estelle's. All I've learned is a bracer, and the power given to me by Ouroboros. With all of it together, I challenge you, Blade Lord.
It's very overdramatic, but it's also, I do like that this is a Joshua who is not shying away or hiding either side of his, like, he is able to be like, I am the Joshua who was an Ouroboros enforcer and assassin, and I am the Joshua who was a part of the Bright family. It's not one or the other. I'm both of those things together. And the fact that I am all of these different things is what gives me strength. There is something nice about that as, like, this point for his arc to come to after so much of this being that Joshua doesn't believe he can be both. Or that one has to be fake.
Yeah, he's a whole ass person, turns out. And then we get maybe the coolest fight choreography in this entire game.
It's so fucking cool.
These two are very fast and very skilled, so immediately the fight starts with Joshua
pulling out moves.
Yeah, pulling out his, like, speed attack stuff and just, like, zipping all over the battlefield. He's, like, teleporting constantly. He's getting behind Louvet.
Cloning himself.
He does a great move where he, like, rings Louvet with clones of himself and they all attack together. Basically, he's got Louvet on the back foot and it all looks very positive. It's like, yeah,
Louvet's like, you have improved.
He's weak from the fight. He's slowed down. Joshua's actually in with the chance. Louvet drops the compliment and then flips the script and kind of turns the battle on Joshua. He's on the defense, kind of getting knocked back again and again and again and again. You even see a few strikes actually get through on Joshua at this point.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the fight, they lock blades and have a deep and meaningful conversation.
Yes. And it's a really good conversation, despite the fact that, like, it is kind of funny that they're in the same position of locking blades for the entire long conversation. Basically, Josh was like, you said before this wasn't all about revenge for Karen. You wanted to bring the world to trial. like, what does that mean? And Luve's like, I wanted to see if humanity could answer for its failings. You know, humanity is the plaything of forces greater than individual men, the passage of time, the changing ideals of nations, gradual shifts in values and ethics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, humans are helpless before these, and when such storms blow over man, they are knocked to the cracks and are lost, unable to free themselves. Hamel is but one example. Joshua is dotting.
Mm-hmm.
And Luve's like, ironically, this great city is exactly the same. It began as a paradise, then at the same time as a great collapse, or as part of it, people abandoned paradise and fell to earth. The city was sealed away, people forgot it ever existed, as if they sought to forget an inconvenient truth, as if they sought to deceive themselves. The truth is ever easily suppressed, and people will happily accept anything they wish to be true in its place. This is mankind's weakness, this is their sin. But the Oriole's overwhelming power will force people to face the unabated truth. How helpless they are without the backing of nations, how vulnerable they are. Once you strip them of their luxuries, all they've locked away in their delusions will be dragged before their eyes, raw and exposed, and they will witness. This is all about Hamel, obviously. What I find so interesting about "and they will witness," so in Greek, or in ancient Greek, the word witness is the word martyr. The word we know for martyr comes from the Greek word for witness.
Okay.
And this is, you can still see this in Islam. The word martyr and witness are, it refers to the same idea. Like, I mean, Arabic, but in Islam, like, this part of the reason that they call people who died tragically martyrs, it is tied up in this idea of witness, of some kind of horror, of some kind of truth, and some kind of horror, and some kind of, like, I find it really interesting, this idea of witness, that Luve has witnessed something so horrifying, and is kind of trying to, like, wants to put that onto everyone else. It is so interesting that he's basically like, I want to make everyone in the world experience my trauma, because I am so mad at them for allowing this to happen.
Yeah, he's talking a big game about how, it's about society at large and the greater issues, but it's not. It's he's hurt and he's mad, and it all comes back to Hamel and losing Karen specifically.
Yes. And then Joshua says the best thing he's ever said in his life. He says, Luve, you're Delulu.
Yeah.
There's a little preamble to this. He's like, delusions, right? And Luve talks more about people being deluded and goes, I think you're the delusional one. And Joshua says, I'm a weak person myself. Joshua loves to call himself weak. It's like his favorite thing. I'm a weak person myself, so what you've said hits home. There's some truth to it. Basically, he's like, individuals can make a difference, and people, small communities can make a difference. Because remember when Karen saved me 10 years ago? She was strong then, and that made all the difference. There's no way you never realized that.
Yeah.
Not with how important Karen was to her, with how important you were to her. You're deluding yourself, Luve, and you know it. And Luve crashes out. He's like, no. Karen was special.
Yeah, she was the only one who could have, redeemed humanity.
She was the only one who had ever made a difference. None of her actions speak for humanity. They must still be tested. They must face their delusions. I must see if they're worthy of Karen's sacrifice. And Joshua, well, then I should be all the proof you need. I'm the weakling and liar who lived on through my sister's sacrifice. I found my way once I met Estelle. I could only have come here to meet you again with her help. People are never powerless as long as they're together. And then he rushes forward.
Yeah, he knocks Luve back from their, sword deadlock, dashes forwards, and stabs him, 16,000 times.
Yeah.
And finally ends by knocking away the Blade Lord's Lord Blade. At which point Luve's like, huh.
And everyone's like, oh my god, he won.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone's kind of shocked because it didn't seem like it was going to go this way. He is the Lord of Blade. So he kind of goes, all right. I guess you beat me. I like his. I didn't catch the line exactly in my screenshots, but he says something like, well, you knocked the blade out of the hand of the Blade Lord. I don't think there's a more definitive defeat than that, pretty much.
The Blade Lord's dropped his sword. Doesn't get much more final than that. All I can do is admit defeat. And Estelle's like, you did it! In all caps, and runs forward with the other party members. And Estelle's like, you even just knocked away his sword. You didn't even have to hurt him. Mm-hmm. And Josh was like, well, if I was fighting to kill, I wouldn't have the slightest hope of victory. There's always a better way. That's what it means to be a bracer, right? That's what Dad taught us. And Estelle's clearly touched by this. She's like, yeah. And Luve's like, yeah, wow, you had all the techniques Weissman gave you, and then all of that filtered through the wisdom of the Divine Blade. I guess I didn't have a hope anyway. And Luve is like, I joined Ouroboros because I want to test humanity, but now you've answered my question, so I guess there's no more reason to work with them. I guess it's time I found a new line of employment. And Joshua runs forward and hugs him!
Yeah.
I was not expecting this, even though I've played the game before. I forgot about that. It's so sweet. And he turns into a little kid. He goes, you're back! Thank Adios, you're back! Luve's back! It's over! It's over! It's kind of heartbreaking. Luve's kind of in shock, clearly not sure about the hug at first, and Joshua says, I always thought about you, even after the Brights took me in. I remembered your voice and your face, and I remembered that you were important to me, but not who you were. Then I finally remembered, only to find out that you're my enemy. I didn't know what to think. And Louvet, finally hugs him back properly, and it's so sweet.
It's so sweet, but at the same time, Estelle and Chloe are getting tummy tingles watching these two men hug each other so emphatically.
They are. It's like they're brothers, guys. Well, I guess Estelle, that doesn't mean that much to her.
Yeah. Chloe's line is something, she's like, oh, Joshua. And Estelle sort of turns and is like, you shouldn't be so, like, reactive to this.
You shouldn't be blushing, she says, blushing.
All very lovely. It sounds like Louvet's gonna, like, be on our side, or at least not be against us anymore. And, Louvet compliments Estelle's reforming skills.
Yeah. For both Ren and Joshua.
Ren and Joshua, you've continued the family legacy of, like, rehabilitating these broken people. Congrats.
And what's interesting is he makes it clear that with Ren, like, he wanted to do with Ren what Estelle has managed to do and he couldn't. Like, he's like, you've managed to do what I couldn't do, not just with Joshua, but with Ren, which makes it clear that, like, he cares about Ren, and he also is not totally cool with what's going on, and he's just not been able to, like, whether he held himself back or whether he couldn't get through to her, we don't know, but he's never managed to do that.
Yeah, he hasn't been happy in the society or around Weissman for a while, but it does seem like he'd sort of like, I've locked myself in for this mission to judge humanity, and I can't break my convictions, so I'm just kind of like stuck with this, while trying to make plans for how to like kidnap Ren out of the society and try and do what Estelle managed to do with a single light slap.
Yep. He also talks a bit to the other two who we have here. So he talks to Claudia for us, Chloe, and is like, do you remember what I told you on top of Grancel Castle? And Chloe's like, I do. You said that a nation's like an enormously complex orbit. And I do think that's true, but I don't believe the world can or should just act like a machine. And I'm going to find a way for people to feel, to be people, even if they're driving an engine.
Yeah.
Like that. And Luby's like, yeah, I believe in you. I don't think you're naive. That's cool. Good luck. And then he talks to Kevin and has an interesting convo.
Yeah.
Where he's like, hey, do you know Rufina? And Kevin immediately gets serious.
He like goes a bit stone-faced. He's like, how do you know that name? How do you know who that is? And Luve's like, oh yeah, like I fought her a few years ago. She's the only other time that I've even come close to like being beaten. So.
And I thought she was a girl's widow, so I'm glad you could confirm it. Hope she's doing well. And Kevin's like, she's dead.
Okay. Yeah, she died. A few years ago as well, which is when he said he fought her. So it's like, is the implication that she died as an after effect of the fight?
I don't think so. I think a few years back could mean like any time in the last, like she died 4 years ago. So I don't know, it could have been 5 years ago.
Yeah, because Luve says a few, which it defaults to 3, I think.
In my head, I could be, but also
a single, a couple, a few.
I mean, I think I hear people say a few being like 10.
Oh, just like my default read is like 3. So when he said she died 4 years ago, like doesn't make sense. But for a second, I was like, oh, a ghost.
No, Kevin says it was an accident, but he's not giving much away on that.
Yeah, real throwaway mystery.
Yeah, may or may not get follow up on that in another game. And then Estelle finally thinks to ask, oh, why are you here anyway, Live? Like, this isn't the Oriole, the circle on the ground, right? Like, what is it? And he goes, no, this is broadcast equipment. This broadcasts the power of the Oriole that's in the core sector all across the city. And she's like, the what? The core sector, turns out, is where the Oriole is.
And BTW, the Oriole is semi-sentient as well.
Yeah, we kind of knew that already. Like, the data crystal said that, but I don't think our characters have been told that directly, and the game kind of treats it as though they didn't read the data crystals. Yeah, apparently the Oriole, using the Gospels and this whole, like, access tower transmission thing, its range of effect is 1,000 Salge, and it can affect all of Liberl plus some more of the continent. Which
explains why the shutdown effect is extending into Erebonia at the moment, because that's kind of the extent of the Oriole's range.
Yeah.
For everything, I guess.
So basically, we have to go to the core sector if we're going to deal with the Oriole. And we'll have to deal with Weissman, of course.
Yes.
And Josh was like, with your help, Luve, not even Weissman can stop us. And they kind of tease each other a bit. Luve's like, why do you think? Oh, you're assuming I'm going to help you now? Whatever. But it's cute. And then we get a green voice saying, my, this is a touching reunion. Clearly Weissman.
Mm-hmm. He teleports in and goes, zap. And just really wrecks Luve's shit. He's knocked to the ground. He also turns transparent, I noticed in my screenshots.
He's not in mine.
I thought it was like, is this implying that he's like an enemy mob that's just a little bit out of range?
Okay, the coloring on yours is different than mine.
Oh, so maybe it's like something to do with my weird emulation setup.
Could be.
Yeah, is this meant to imply that he's like dying or dead or something? But it doesn't matter. We've got better things to focus on in this particular moment now that Weissman the Faceless has shown up.
Joshua's over and kneeling at Luve's side now. He's very worried. Weissman yells at us that we've been violating the rules. And Estelle's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We've done all these fights fair and square. Hell, we've been fairer than we really should have been.
Yeah.
And Weissman's like, no, because you can't have members of Ouroboros assisting you. That makes the experiment unfair.
Breaks lab conditions, apparently.
Yep. And Estelle's like, what do you mean, we're an experiment? And Josh was like, oh, I'm an idiot. This was, you were always planning for us to come here, weren't you? And Weissman's like, yep, I always planned you to come this far. He's like, Joshua's ruining the precision of my results, so now I have to make him my puppet again. And he, like, snaps his fingers or whatever, and Joshua's like, Rawr! And then he gets blank red eyes.
Yep, he teleports away from Luve's body to Weissman's side, has his swords out and bright red eyes. And then he decides to give us a bit of a backstory on how exactly he's able to control Joshua.
Yeah.
Which is that when he was rebuilding Josh's psyche when he was broken, he implanted a stigma in him.
And that's not a word we've heard yet in these games.
Hmm.
So I don't want to say too much, but it's a capital S, stigma, when he calls it that.
Yes, this is a proper noun. He talks about how he like implanted the stigma deep within Joshua, and that the tattoo on his arm is an outward manifestation of the stigma itself. So this is the shape of the stigma. This is the symbol for it.
Kevin is like, you damn monster, you put something like that in his subconscious. Weissman is like, he's like, oh yes, well as a fledgling Growslitter, you would know exactly what's going on here. So clearly a stigma is something that a Growslitter would be familiar with.
Yeah, it's something churchy because, as we remember, Weissman was originally with the church before he left to become an evil mastermind, which is why he loves the organs so much.
Yeah, and the word stigma does tie to church, like in our world as well. Like a stigmata is like when somebody has like wounds on their body that show up that match like Jesus's crucifixion wounds or something. That's what it's called. It's supposed to be like a miracle.
Yeah, the spear to the side and that, yeah.
It's like a whole thing. So that does have like religious implications.
But yeah, he says the tattoo reappeared on Josh's arm when he regained his memories because it kind of reactivated. Which is it's good because like I'd been wondering for a lot of the game is like he's got this tattoo. Doesn't seem like he went out and got it as part of his makeover. So has he been hiding this entire life? Like did Estelle know about this tattoo? It turns out it's just been invisible until he got his like bad memories back.
And then Estelle's really upset. I mean, she's upset by this because she's like, Joshua, stop looking at me like this. But then she's like, okay, so Weissman, even that was a lie. When you were fucking with Joshua's head and did all this shit in FC, you said to him that he was free. And I know that you were saying that to like mess with him, but I didn't know that you were literally lying. And Weissman's like, what? He was free. Yeah. I just had to take his freedom away now because he was fucking with me. Like, someone's not free if you have the power to end their freedom with the snap of your fingers. It just means they have a long leash on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rough. Estelle tries to reach out to Joshua. He's not reacting. And then Weissman's like, well, I'm going to go to the core. Do you want to come visit? Bye. And he teleports himself and Joshua away. And
then Luve starts muttering, like, from, like, his, like, little croak of, like, clearly still suffering. He's like, take the back elevator. And it sounds like, oh, Luve, thank goodness you're okay.
I do like the moment where Estelle's like, what elevator? And then the camera just slowly pans behind him and it's like, oh, that giant elevator behind you? Do you mean that one?
Right there.
It's like, yeah, well, no, fair enough. You walked onto this battle stage and you were very focused on the murderous man in front of you and didn't like taking your surroundings.
Yeah.
So he's like, yep, take that down to the core.
But as we try to go, two more big mechs show up. They're the same. They look like the mechs that Luve was riding around on when he was attacking the RSA.
In red, yep.
Luve's like, fuck, I didn't know Weissman had more than just that one. And then they get out their little, like, laser claw sword thingies. And then someone's like, let us handle this. And the whole rest of the party, plus Julia and Mueller, who I guess are part of the party.
And the rest of the Capuas as well.
And the Gossip Capuas. They're like, yeah, we got everyone together who could fight. And Professor Russell's there, but he's like, I'm not here to fight. I'm just tagging along because I want to see everything. And then they're like, we'll take care of these guys. You continue ahead. And Luve's like, your light is the only thing that can save Joshua now. Which is, like, really funny to come from Luve.
While he's still just, like, prostrate on the ground as well.
He's just lying on his back.
He's like, lying, staring upwards, and he's just like, you guys can do it. I also really like the shot as you prepare to sort of rush the elevator. Mueller, I think it is, says like, okay, split into two parties and take each of they call them Reverie Dragions.
Yeah.
Louvet names them for us. He's like, split up and fight them. We can do this. And simultaneously, everyone runs except for Professor Russell, who just stands perfectly stationary.
Yeah.
Doesn't even step back from the fight. He's just like, all right, you guys do your thing.
I do like that the implication that Reverie is like a lot of things tied to the Oriole. Like, we had the Reverie guy and as the final boss of FC, now these Reverie Dragion things. I mean, it kind of, like, given that everyone was stuck in, like, a Delulu, like, VR ChatGPT psychosis thing, the Reverie could be, like, there's a connection there. They were all in a Reverie, I guess. Chloe's also, we're on the elevator now. Chloe's like, wow, I wonder if that was an elevator shaft. Because it's, like, a whole big floor here. It's pretty big. And Kevin's like, yeah, well, this is a pretty big pillar. I guess it needs a big elevator. And I guess this runs all the way to the middle of the island. And then they try to reassure Estelle a bit. You know, Joshua promised to walk through to the end. And so I was like, yep. And besides, I can't let creepy Weissman do whatever he wants with my Joshua.
Yeah, with my Joshua.
My Joshua. And she goes, it's time to take back my man with girl power. It's just like, oh my God, Estelle, you're the biggest fucking dork. But the others are like, yeah, right on. I love it too. She's such a dork. The others are like, right on. They're just like, clearly they're glad Estelle is not like crashing out the way she did at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, like all of her concerns and like worries have been erased. I love how many times they've been like, don't worry, Estelle, everything's going to be okay. Joshua's there or whatever. And she's like, oh, I know. It's cool. Let's just get it done. I'm
just pissed and I got to get there. But like, I know we're going to make it okay.
I'm not scared. I'm angry.
Yeah.
I want to punch that stupid fake Pope.
But then there's someone else to punch first, because another Reverie Dragion thing lands. This is, I think, pretty clearly just meant to be an opportunity to get some CP before more boss fights.
Yeah. It's not a particularly tough fight. Like, it doesn't even have that much health. It's nothing compared to the Louvet fight.
No.
But I did note, like, when Estelle was like, oh, that big platform is the elevator, I'm like, that looks big enough to have a fight on. Yep.
And so we have to take it out. I took it out with regular attacks.
Considering this thing took down the RC, yeah, I was just bonk, 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 200 CP, please.
Yep.
And then at the end of the fight, I like that it gets knocked off the side of the platform and just sort of plummets down the shaft.
And then when you get to the bottom of the shaft, it's there, steaming.
Yes! I was like, good. Please let us see it crash to the bottom. And it's just like off to the side in an area you can't walk on. Just kind of like come to pieces. And it's like, hell yeah. After that, it's time to prepare for the final boss rush.
Yeah.
We have a health-restoring augment station, which we have not seen many of. I was surprised not to have any in the final dungeon.
Right before Louvet, there was one. Like, right before the roof.
Yeah, but not even one on, like, the ground floor of the dungeon.
No, it's weird.
Which was crazy. Like, the fact you'd have to hike all the way back to the RC to go sleep in the sickbay bed just to get your health back.
Yep. And I did that a lot. And then there's, like, a really long path. And there's a few monsters on it that I think are also just there to let you get your CP up if you want. Like, I just avoided them.
Yeah, they were like the little black and red, like...
the things you get in the monster chest.
Robot bird things in the monster chest? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not particularly tough. So I stopped and fought one just to, like, fill up the last CP I needed for the final boss.
Sure. And then, but then we get to the midpoint of the walkway, kind of. Like, you get to the end and then there's another, it starts again. And you get to the midway, you stop for cutscene because Weissman's like, welcome everyone to the home of all that is sacred.
Yes, and then he pipes in his organ music backing track.
Yep.
Assumably he recorded this himself back on the Glorious and brought along like a mixtape with him.
But remember, it continued playing when he stopped touching the keys of the organ, so it might have been a backing track even then, right?
He's the Ashley Simpson of the society.
Yeah, pretty much. But we get to see him, and we see what is definitely a shining ring floating in the air behind him.
It sure is.
It's very... I don't even know how to describe it. You're better at visual descriptions than me. Do you want to have a whack at describing what the fuck the aura looks like?
It's kind of this big hologram thing, mostly in gold, with like a sphere or something in the center of it. It almost looks like a solar system model for a second, with sort of things orbiting around it. Other elements, it's clear this is kind of like engaged in doing stuff, because it looks like, status screens and all this kind of stuff around it. But it's just floating there in the middle of this circular room on sort of a raised platform with Weissman standing in front of it looking like a smug son of a bitch.
The one thing I do note is it kind of resembles an orbment, which I have to imagine is not coincidental. Like, there's a little bit of a resemblance. The gear, it resembles kind of like the gears of an orbment a little bit. But it's like there's a flat disc in the middle, but then like other discs, they're all like floating holographic images, like you said, but they're kind of, the solar system's a really good comparison. Joshua's standing there in front of Weissman again with a blank face. Weissman's like, you passed the final trial. Be proud. You're worthy to be present for the resurrection of the Oriole. And Sal's like, I'm not interested in any of that. Thanks.
Yeah, no thanks.
And she's like, I'm here for Joshua back. Weissman's like, no.
But he decides to give us a history lesson
Mm-hmm.
and tell us all about the history of the 7 treasures of Idios Above, or whatever it is the society call her. Idios of the Sky?
Yeah, Idios of the Sky. I mean, this is one of her many names, right? Like, she's the goddess of the sky, sometimes Idios of the Sky. Oh, the one thing before we get to the history lesson, he does basically say, Joshua knew this was a possibility all this time, and he never told you these worries. Like, clearly your bonds aren't worth shit, which is just him trying to dig the knife in.
Yeah, it's just like, bonds, connection, sounds like bullshit to me.
Friends, teammates, to hell with that.
Anyway, here's a history lesson. It's like, Idios brought the 7 treasures, not referred to here, but also known as the Septarians, which I think is a name we've heard dropped earlier in the game at some point.
Yeah, from the very first game, in the prologue, he talked about them.
Yes, but here he's calling them the 7 treasures instead. One sort of to each elemental aspect seems to be the idea.
Yeah.
So fire, water, earth, air, time, space, mirage.
Different aspects of reality.
And when these gifts descended to the earth, humanity sort of broke up into 7 factions, each kind of attaching themselves to one of the treasures and living by its edicts, or like following the ways of that treasure.
Like they, I guess, represented not just those elements, but each has sort of a philosophy about the world, I guess, that would... So presumably there was like a more militaristic powered one would attract a more militaristic group, and a more science and research like focused one would probably that's kind of the idea. I get that they had not just that they represent different elements, but also like different kind of powers and abilities that would correspond with different like worldviews and philosophies. And so that's kind of how society got divided up.
Yeah, so the Oriole is the one of space. And the floating city, the Liberarch, was kind of their experiment on sort of using that to its fullest potential. So it was this city that provided everything for everyone, kept them placated, and eventually turned them into mush people, basically.
Yeah.
They're all dopamine addicted in their like horny VR jail, getting everything they need, but losing connection with each other. And so he mentions that in the city, birth rates dropped, suicide skyrocketed, as well as bizarre crimes. Because this is the thing, if you're like chasing dopamine, like the hits don't stay the same emphasis. You've got to keep going more and more extreme to continue getting the hit, which is why people were like pulling off weird crimes. I would love to know more about what these weird crimes were.
I have some theories. My thoughts are, if you have a society, 2 things come to me. First of all, there are some people who get off on really weird shit. And then second of all, if you don't have any real connection to other people, all you have contact with is artificial. You don't really have empathy or an ability to understand that you're harming other people, or like that you lose any sense of that. So it makes you think there was some depraved shit, whether it was murders. If people were doing VR, like serial killing, then eventually that could fall into the real world.
Yeah.
Or if it was some crimes of a sexual nature, that might... If people are just like, let's live out my wildest fantasies in VR, and I have no concept of the fact that other people are real human beings because I've been basically completely cut off from having any connection to other people. Like, it's AI psychosis, kind of.
It is. Weissman says that in order to sort of move forward and evolve humanity and all this stuff, we need 2 things. We need flawless rationality and like perfect intelligence.
Faced with this, what happened, and the Oriole didn't, cast judgment on anyone's wishes, it just granted them all. So Celesta Slace and her co-conspirators sealed it away, and like they did a pretty good job, but then they cast humanity into like basically being beasts without civilization or technology.
Yeah, calls them livestock,
And just like threw people into the Dark Ages. To him, he's like, that also is like humans becoming animals. So one way or another, humans are, whether on the Oriole or in the aftermath of the Oriole, we're just like no better than animals, is basically what he's saying. And there's also, the whole no better than animals thing is like definitely goes into a weird, like, we're falling into Ubermensch territory in terms of how Weissman's talking. Like the ultimate human, which we have seen fascists get really into that idea of before, historically.
Crazy. Because, he says basically there's 2 paths forwards for us in the modern day now as well. Either we keep going the way that we are, we descend into war and destroy ourselves entirely, or we go down the path of the Oriole and fall into, like, death by narcotics, basically.
He does specifically say an orgy of conflict, which is very funny.
Very horny. Estelle's just like, nah, actually, no, those aren't the two options. That's stupid. Why don't we just fix the problems we have, like, instead of ignoring them or running away from them? Like, couldn't we just resolve the conflicts, dude? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, these are the only two options. The only alternative to any of this is if all of humanity evolves into the Ubermensch and therefore has no emotional struggles and is super intelligent, right? And this is what it should be. And Kevin's also like, I love this. Kevin's like, you're actually serious. And Weissman's like, I would so appreciate it if you would not look at me as if I were a megalomaniacal lunatic. And it's like, well, baby, you're so close to understanding. He's like, we need to drive evolution forward.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and swims like a duck.
He literally says, we need to drive evolution forward.
Yeah, okay, bud.
That's so funny. She goes, I bet you're a real hit at parties, not.
Oh, Estelle. Yeah, Weissman kind of gets sick and tired of anyone disagreeing with him, and he's like, well, how about this then? And he evil eyes your party members.
Estelle does call him pathetic. She's like, wow, it's really pathetic. You clearly think people just need to be omnipotent super beings in order to understand, like, to have life be worthwhile. But he also used an example of war to prove his point, like, to prove that, like, humans are, it's kind of a similar argument to Louvet, like from a different perspective, but like humans are powerless before this stuff and need to be better. And he's like, war can crush people. And Estelle's like, yeah, but think about this. In the middle of the 100 Days War, my mother gave her life to save me. And because of that, I'm now here on the brink of defeating you. So clearly humans are strong and can make a difference just as we are, as long as we're together. And she's like, if you really seriously think people are powerless and you think humanity can only be saved by making us emotionless super beings, that makes you really pathetic, I think. He is not prepared for her to say that. And she's like, I mean, that means you've never known the joy of trusting a person or of helping someone. Like, that's like the saddest, most pathetic thing ever. That you've never had the joy of, like, people and you don't even realize it's so satisfying. And he's just, like, crashing out about this. He's like, you can't say that!
You can't say that. You can't talk back to me. I'm so smart.
So yeah, he evil eyes.
Then he's like, well, ha ha ha, try this on for size, and evil eyes in Kevin and Chloe, the other party members, and then says, now Joshua, get her. And says he's gonna sick Joshua on Estelle. The worst thing he could possibly do to poor Josh.
And then he's gonna wake Joshua up and have Joshua see what he's done. That's his whole plan.
Yes.
And Joshua,
hardcore.
Like, it looks like you're thrown into battle, but you have no ability to do anything with Estelle. Joshua just phantom raids and immediately KOs Estelle.
Yeah.
Estelle just kind of is out of power. Joshua pins her down, puts his knife to her throat. Weissman's very smugly like, yeah, the power of humanity is nothing. It's a house of cards. And Joshua will prove the final test. Kill her. I will break his hypnosis after he kills you. And then he'll be devastated and it's going to be great. And then he'll be collapsed and then I'll rebuild his brain and just have fun. It's going to be great. Joshua lifts up his knife to kill her. And Estelle's like, Joshua, I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't die. But she's like, Joshua, do not give in to Weissman. Do not let despair take you. Like, even if I die, don't run away from reality. And then Joshua says, to be honest, if you did die, I'm not sure I could face reality. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he gets up. Estelle's just lying on the ground there as he gets up. Like, he doesn't help her to her feet, which is kind of funny. I guess the sprites can do that. And Joshua's like, yeah, sorry to scare you like that. And Weissman's like, this is impossible! No! He can't possibly have reclaimed his will. Wait, your stigma's disappeared! And Joshua explains that this time when he asked Kevin for something right before we went exploring everything, what happened was he basically had Kevin put like a hypnotic wedge, as he called it, into his brain, so that if Weissman ordered him to kill Estelle, it would break the stigma. He basically set like a tripwire up.
It's like this one and only specific command.
And he was like, and I was betting on the fact that you would not be able to resist it. Because I know you. I predicted it.
Yeah, you think you're this big, clever super genius, but he's actually like an incredibly petty man.
Yes. And Kevin's like, yeah, it really could have killed you. I did explain the risks. Good job beating the odds, because this probably should have killed you, what we did.
And yeah, he said, like, I've been poking at the wedge on my own since then. How he's been doing that, I'm not too sure. But getting it ready to shatter, the instant pressure was put on it, and you issuing the command I knew you were going to issue did the trick. So now I'm fully, totally free.
And he's like, damn it, like, Graham, like, you're clearly more than just a little squire for the girls' road. I won't make that mistake again. And Kevin's like, well, I didn't even come up with the idea. And Weissman goes, no, Cassius Bright, damn you. And we flash back to that letter he gave Joshua.
Yes.
Which was said, basically saying, I know you've got this spell on you, basically. Father Graham would probably be able to help.
It gives like a hint. It's like, just think of what Weissman would do.
Yeah, win your freedom by predicting what he would do. This predictable little petty bitch.
Well, Mr. Fake Pope is not happy about any of this. He's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna fucking murder you then, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's time to begin the final fight.
We do get a little Joshua speech right before that where he kind of repeats the thesis of everything, which is that collective community is what's important in life. And Weissman's not impressed with this at all. So he summons some little guys to help him in his fight. And he starts with a weird-ass craft that looks like a lot of goopy red faces.
Yeah.
Of horror around the ground. It's really gross and, like, disturbing. It's not actually that bad, this phase, but it's a first phase.
Yeah, the first phase, like, it takes a little bit, but it's not super tough. It's like Weissman with 4 little combat shells, they're specifically called, which is a term that we will hear more later down the line in the Trails series.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just like little supports. I was able to wipe them out in, I think, like 2 S-crafts or a couple of attacks.
Yes.
And then Weissman, he has a couple of moves like this dimension shift type thing, where it like throws you into like a 3D Tron space, which is kind of cool. But he's just kind of a nuisance. You've just got to manage him. I kind of kept up the Earth Guard, Earth Wall stuff with Kevin.
Oh yeah, I did that in every fight.
Because turns out this is a winning strategy.
Yeah.
You take him down the first time and it's kind of fine. And then that's not good enough for Weissman, so he's ready to take it to the next level.
Yeah. He's like, oh, that's a shock. And Weissman's like, and we're like, yeah, we beat you. And he's like, oh, you haven't realized you're standing on your graves. And he backs up and stands directly below the Oriole. Mm-hmm. And Joshua's like, what are you doing? And Weissman's like, well, I plan to offer it to the Grandmaster as is, but I guess I have to change that plan. And he levitates into the Oriole.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what in the... Father Kevin goes, oh no, don't you fuse with the Oriole, you heretical maniac. So that tells us what's going on.
This is not a good idea.
It's not. So he fuses with the Oriole, which reminded you is sentient. I feel like fusing with a thing of unlimited power is bad enough idea without it being sentient. And he turns into his own version of Bizarro Sephiroth. It's like...
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, the phrase biblically accurate angel is like very overused, but it does fall into sort of that kind of territory, except weirder. It almost is like a flower, almost flower shaped, and that has these weird leg things, and then it like opens up and it's kind of like a mech.
For someone who's been like referring to us constantly for the last few like story beats as an insect, he looks very bug-like.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. There's also no clear, like, face on him, really, you know?
Yeah, he has, like, horns that kind of imply a head, but the thing that you think is his face is actually, like, a hatch that opens to show the Oriole.
Yeah.
And then, further down his body, he has, like, a big vertical slit that opens around his crotch.
Yeah.
Which is a little unfortunate.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
there
awkward.
Pulsing.
Yeah, throbbing. Ew. It's not good.
It's not great. But he seems to be having a good time. He's like, oh, this sensation, even better than I'd imagine.
And, but we go into battle, and you can't do damage against him. Like, it just, you can't even really do anything. It doesn't even show register as there being a health bar on him. Like, it's not just that he's a god of guard, there's just nothing. And he's like, you've learned your lesson. He explains that, given that the Oriole is the power of space, one of its many powers is an absolute barrier that it can form that you can't even be broken by anything. And then he whips out the evil eye again, and is then, taunting about how he can't wait to destroy Joshua again and put another stigma in his brain. And then a man's voice is like, I can't believe this. Forget bad taste. The only word I have for you at this point is sick. And then Luve pops in on his original Reverie Dragon, which is a Dip Drakion, which is a different color than all the other ones for some reason.
I also love that the organ music abruptly stops at this point as well.
Luve's finally gotten off the ground, which is kind of cool. He's not prone on the ground anymore. Mm-hmm. And Weissman's like, oh, what do you think you're going to do, Luve? Your dragon can't break this barrier.
It's like, yeah, well, watch me try.
But then Luve asks a really interesting question. He goes, how involved were you in Hamel? And Josh was like, what the fuck? And Weissman's like, oh, no, well, that was the umpires, Warhawks, wasn't it? Why would you think I'd be involved? And Weissman's like, Luve's like, because you're a snake, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You appear in front of people in their moments of weakness and whisper plans into their ears that lead to their destruction. And in doing so, you achieve your goals without ever dirtying your belly. That's your way of doing things. The ringleaders of the Hawks were nothing more than political losers with nowhere to go. And he's like, there were a few answers about how things went down 10 years ago that I couldn't answer. But if even the war 10 years ago was always part of your plan, everything made sense. And Weissman's like, hi, yeah, I see. Yeah, it's basically what you've guessed. And it sounds like the fuck.
Yeah.
All I really did was introduce those Warhawks to a band of Jaeger dropouts I knew and mentioned the name Hummel to them. They did the rest. That was all I needed to cause a war.
Yes.
It's like, I love how this whole segment of the chapter is like, oh, you thought Weissman was a monster? Let's make him worse. Let's show you he's even worse than you thought.
Jeez.
And he's like, Luve, you're keeping calm about this. And Luve's like, oh, I know how to keep my anger in check.
Mm-hmm.
But you knocked me out from behind before, and that's not cool. I gotta get back at you.
Yeah, you coward punched me up on the roof, so now I need to take my revenge for that. While the Dragion has been trying to pierce the barrier with its electro hands, he jumps up onto the hand and stabs into it with his sword as well, which actually starts to pierce the barrier.
And Weissman's freaking out.
Like, what the fuck? How are you doing that? That shouldn't be possible. Oh, wait, shit, your sword, which he had gotten from the Grandmaster.
Just like Weissman's staff.
Just like your staff, it is a demon sword forged through the Divergent Laws, and that is another proper noun, Divergent Laws. So another crazy thing that's just being added to the mythology at the last second.
Now, I think what we can surmise, based on the term Divergent Laws, is that it is able to do things clearly that normal things can't do. It is able to...
Breaks physics, basically.
Operates under a different set of laws.
Yeah, given he's referring to it as a demon sword, when we know that hell is a real place that exists, it sure seems like this could be, like, something from beyond, in the same way that the Aureole and the other treasures are something from beyond.
Yeah.
But this one's less nice. But it does the trick. It's able to shatter the barrier around goopy angel bug Weissman.
Who, again, calls Luve an insect. Or not, he's never called Luve an insect again, but he loves calling people insects. So, right, he's in his bug form, and he's going to call someone else an insect.
And while Luve is finishing piercing through the barrier, he basically just slams him over and over and over again with the S-craft that took us down initially.
Yeah.
You can see like the red effect of it striking him over and over and over again, but he's not letting go. Finally, he pierces through the barrier, and we're ready to attack again.
Luve is thrown to the ground behind us. It says, forget about me. Go after him. Like, but Luve's clearly not doing well.
Yeah, he's once again lying on his back on the ground. So, this time next to a shattered Reverie Dragion. Mm-hmm. But it's our turn to watch this cool transition. It's like a spinning whirlpool that kind of fades out to black that we have not seen in a single other fight. And it looks so good, I can't believe they only used it once.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly were saving up the impact of it, thinking that like it would hit harder if it only happened once. But yeah, it is pretty cool.
But yeah, we transition into battle with Angel Weissman, who has 69,000 health. Nice. The first fight, it was just like a slow chip down. Yeah, like it's 69,000 health, but like he's fairly easy to take down. He's got a couple of little support guys that you've got to deal with, which is just like...
They're worse because they suck your CP. They're more annoying than him at this point, I find.
Yeah, and they are quite like bulky themselves as well, so they take a minute to take down.
Yeah.
But yeah, after he gets his rumbly Aureole tummy...
And he says, behold now the infinite power of the Aureole. The Aureole is it's doing something that he's not predicting. And suddenly it's like this giant, it's like a long tail with a mouth, like a Venus flytrap, like slithers up. We don't really know where. And then clamps onto the bottom of Weissman. So now he's got like a giant tail tentacle thing from below. Like, we don't really know what's happening. Yeah. Other than clearly the Aureole is not just under Weissman's control. It still has its own will and is doing shit.
Yeah, it's really nasty. It looks like he's been attacked by a giant tapeworm or something.
Yeah.
Because it's bit him on the butt. But that takes us into Form 2 after the first round fighting him. All these, like, protuberances around him sort of turn into big wings.
It's extremely like Sephiroth's final form in the original Final Fantasy VII. When it first happens, then they settle into something a little different, like all the wings of like tiny little like feather blade thingies. But
it feels very biblically accurate angel, because it's this big spread of wings and he has all these like red points all over his body and the sort of the inner folds of the wings to simulate eyes, which you'd think would be subtle enough, but then they crack open into actual eyes.
And then what's amazing is Chloe goes, angel? And Kevin goes, like, being hit in the face with raw heresy. Like, he's like, I know I'm a cool priest, but I'm still too much of a priest for this.
Yeah, he's not enjoying this.
He's really not.
Now we've been sort of warped into like a gold sphere, basically.
With like tiles on the ground.
Yeah, they're like individual green tiles for each like space you can occupy in the fight. The trick here is that his little assistant guys in this round of the fight, the Alpha Omegas, will occasionally go around and zap a different panel of the floor and drop it out. So if you had a party member on that tile when they do it, that party member's gone for the fight. Like, they're just done. They don't come back.
Yeah, it's like kind of stressful trying to avoid this.
Which is wild. I was really lucky because I didn't really see how they were broadcasting where they would attack in any way, and then I just lucked out that nobody got like dropped.
I think they do like at first show like a spot on the ground. Either that or they never did it to me.
I saw the move like warned in the walkthrough I was using, but it was only like at one point when I was moving someone around, I was like, oh, there's missing panels now. I guess they did do that attack. Oh, and this time around, Angel Weissman has literally the most health it is possible to have in this game. He has 99,999 health.
Yep. I do also like that as they're like as we're starting this phase, Estelle like, come on guys, let's take him down and let's get back to Louvet. Like she's immediately like, yes, Louvet is a family member now. This is Joshua's brother and now he's on our side, so now he's our family member and my first priority is we gotta make sure he's okay. Like I think it's very sweet how immediately she's like, yeah. Now when you finally get him down, he's a pain. I don't have that much to say beyond this fight. Like he's a pain. He's not as bad as Louvet was.
Yeah, like now that I was making sure to stack like the Earth Guards and like speed up with like clock up for everyone to sort of keep us moving as quickly as possible in the battle, it wasn't that hard to maintain the battle, especially after getting through Louvet.
It's long. I found it long more than difficult.
It takes a while, yeah. I was like ticking up towards midnight as I was trying to finish this battle. I was just like, come on. But when you finally beat him after forever, the Oriole separates out from him. It decides to use its will and say, I don't want to be here anymore.
It uniports.
Breaks away from him. He gets really upset and he's like, oh, fuck this shit, and just kind of teleports away.
Yep. And the Oriole just disappeared, gone. Like, it's possible that we've just destroyed the Oriole. It kind of seems that way.
Maybe it slipped back into its extra dimension or something, because Zemuria is just too much trouble.
But we're not worried about that yet, because Joshua's yelling for Louvet.
I noticed that when you finish this battle, like, the party all sort of descend from the race platform where the fight happened, except for Kevin, who stays at the top of the stairs. And then as they start talking, he just walks away, but doesn't approach them. So he's done a Ren and, like, Irish farewelled the party somehow.
Yes, which nobody notices. And we'll get follow-up on that. Josh was like, Louvet, don't worry, we're going to heal you, stay with us. And Louvet's like, there's no need. You know full well these wounds are not wounds you recover from. And Josh was like, no. And Livy's like, oh, you look just like a crybaby you were when you were a kid. And Josh was like, yeah, I am still a crybaby, so I still need you around. You can't die. I'm still a weak little child who needs you. Like, he's very much like that.
He's very much reverting to, like, the age he was when they were last together. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah. And Louvet says, Joshua, listen, if you find this, clearly meaning, like, what's happening to him, unacceptable, then take a lesson from me. Don't end up like this.
Don't die to protect the things you care about. Live to protect them. Which doesn't seem like it should be that hard of a lesson, but a lot of people in RPGs need to learn it.
I think it is a powerful lesson when you are someone who struggles with depression or suicidal ideation, which are things that I have dealt with in my life, that sometimes living and fighting can be like the hardest thing to think about doing. And you gotta it can be a real fight. And I think Joshua is clearly a character who has really spent a lot of time thinking he shouldn't be alive and thinks it would be better if he wasn't alive. And that's something Estelle has been saying to him. And now Louvet is saying that you are, there is more you can protect with your life than what you could ever get with your death.
Yeah, 100%.
And then Louvet asks Estelle for one more favor. He says, I likes to act tough, but he's pretty tenderhearted deep down. So promise me you'll keep helping him. And so I was like, well, I was going to do that no matter what.
Yeah, help him to become a full, well-rounded man now that he's got his whole, like, spirit back together.
And then Louvet says something devastating. He says, oh, I finally understand why Karen could smile like that at the end. Karen, you were just as content, weren't? And he doesn't finish the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, Luve really loves Joshua. Despite how he's been acting for most of this game and the shit he's been saying, he really loves this kid.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, as soon as he entered the battle, and the organ music stopped, the music that picked up to replace it was really, like, sad, and I was like, oh no, this isn't going to go well. And it turns out it didn't. But as our good friend Luve passes on, everyone else in the extended party runs up.
Yep.
Not including Kevin. He's still not with them.
Still not with them.
And they see us sort of standing around Luve's body. Estelle shares with the professor. He's like, what happened? Where is Weissman? Where is the Oriole? What's going on? She shares that they're both gone. The Weissman teleported away. They weren't able to stop him, but that's not a big deal. But the Oriole seemed to have vanished entirely. And the professor says, well, shit.
Yeah.
That's not good.
You do know what's keeping us in the sky right now, right?
Estelle's like, why? Why is that bad? Crungle, crungle, crungle. Everything starts shaking. It's like, well, you just took out the Flying City's battery.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs the battery to fly. So that's probably not going to happen for much longer. It won't switch off instantly, but the power's going to start running out in different systems, and this ship is going down.
We gotta go now.
We need to get out.
Joshua is not responding to this at all. Like, he's just kneeling in front of Luve. Joshua's like, go on ahead of me. And Estelle slaps him. Her favorite move.
Yeah, another slap.
She goes, get it together, Joshua. Didn't Luve just tell you to live? You dumbass. 2 seconds ago, his last words.
I know you don't want to leave him, but we gotta go. And Mueller's like, okay, everybody, let's stay in line so we don't lose anybody and head for the Bobcat, which is the most flyable ship right now. I like that he says, everyone stay in line so we don't lose anyone, which should be like a reminder to the players, like, hang on, where is Kevin?
We already lost someone, bitch. But Joshua also does notably take Luve's sword and says he's going to bring this to lay to rest. And then after we run off, we flash to somebody else who's making his way through this thing. We see Weissman, who's like limping along angrily, muttering to himself, and then realizes, wait, was I also being tested by the Grandmaster? Was I also like a subject of this experiment and not the mastermind that I thought I was? And he's kind of muttering to himself, like, I'll have to take this up with my master when I have to have words with the Grandmaster when I see them again. But then Kevin Graham shows up.
Yeah, I think your questions to the Grandmaster are going to be deferred indefinitely.
Yeah.
And approaches, he tries to evil eye Kevin, but Kevin holds up his god badge and it doesn't work.
And he's like, what the fuck? And Kevin's like, yeah, sorry, I've been putting on a bit of a show. I'm not just some brand new fledgling Growls litter. I'm their number 5. I've been around the block.
He's been around for a while. And it's like, okay, so I guess you were like holding back just a little bit.
Yep. And he's like, yeah, when you were at your full power with like the Oriole and stuff, that was genuinely a struggle for me. But
now you don't have a prayer. Not that you do that anymore, you filthy heathen. And this is like a very smug look on Kevin's face that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
None of his cute little like dog tooth or whatever. He's just like, you are gross. You are the shit beneath my boot. And then he just straight up shoots Weissman in cold blood with his crossbow.
And he says, yeah, locating the Oriole's actually been a sideshow, as you might have figured out. Like, clearly he's like, my actual mission here has been to kill you.
Because we cannot abide the shit you've been doing. Yeah.
And Weissman's trying to be, he's like, well, Growlsritter, you'll find it a little hard to fight the faceless on your, what? It's like, a stake? Because he didn't just shoot him. He shot him with a stake, like a fucking vampire. And then Weissman looks at it and says that this is part of the salt pillar that destroyed Northumbria. I think those are my screenshot didn't upload, but it was along those, like, that's what it is.
He refers to it as the pillar, a stake of the pillar of salt. He's shocked that the church would allow Kevin to use a weapon like this.
Well, he says it just for me. Like, it could be that, like, wow, this is such a bad thing to use. Or it could be, like, this is a sacred object. Or something the church really was willing to, like, do away with this item to kill me.
Yeah, it's a big deal to use one of their, like, artifacts that they collect. Because they're mostly for, like, keeping and protecting and stopping them from being used.
Yes, though this might not be an artifact. We're not entirely sure what the salt pillar was.
This Kevin is like a very different Kevin to what we've experienced today. Like, he has this little speech where he explains like why they let him use this horrible weapon. apparently. He
Yeah.
said it's what you've earned, you faithless pile of filth.
Yeah.
The church does try to stay neutral in all things, but we can't overlook what you've done. Now kindly stand still and die quietly.
And that's the coldest look in his eyes we've never seen. I'm like this. And then Weissman turns to Salt like he's Lot's wife in the Bible.
Yeah, frozen in position, drops his spear, and he's done. As he sort of stares at the salt pillar of Weissman, he kind of remarks how he's a little bit jealous of Joshua, that he gets to leave his former life behind and restart.
Yeah.
Whereas Kevin is kind of locked in doing what he does for good.
Clearly also an assassin. A churchly hitman, it would appear.
A different kind of divine blade.
Yeah. And then, Campanella shows up and says, Kevin Graham, the Heretic Hunter in Gralsritter's Fifth Dominion. The Heretic Hunter is with capital H's, so clearly this is a title. A cool title alert! The Heretic Hunter.
The Heretic Hunter and a Fifth Dominion. I don't believe we've heard the term Dominion before this.
I don't think so, which is interesting because his final crossbow you get for him, not counting if you make a Zemurian or one, is called Dominion.
It's called Dominion, yeah.
So he's the Fifth Dominion, and he said he's their number 5, so presumably that means the Gralsritter's top guys, at least, are called Dominions.
It's another proper noun, so this is like some other kind of category of church guy that we have not previously been aware of. Campanella is just like, oh, well, you know what? I'm not here to fight you. I was just here as an observer. I was here to observe the gospel plan in full, in all aspects, to report it entirely back to the Grand Master of the Society. Mm-hmm. And I've done that now. So I've observed, and it's time for me to go. So he snaps his fingers, at which point Salt Weissman collapses into a pile, and Campanella says, I'll be taking that demon spear, teleports both of them away.
He just goes, hope we meet again someday. And Kevin just kind of looks after him wordlessly, ... and with that glare. And then we get a little text box. And so Estelle's group escaped the Axis pillar while the Liber Arc began shaking itself apart. With the sudden immense reduction in orbital energy making the Halo Rail unusable, they took the tunnels. There was more, but I'm not going to read. Yeah. And as they're running, Joshua suddenly collapses to the ground. Estelle and Joshua are like at the back of the group.
Yep.
Joshua is just like, sorry, I just had a moment of vertigo. And suddenly just Kevin walks up. Like he's all right, before we ended that scene with him, he's like, I guess I should rejoin the group. And he's like, oh yeah, that's because of getting rid of the stigma. That's going to cause you some dizziness. You're going to feel like shit for a few days, Joshua. Sorry. Yeah,
it's going to be bad. Sorry. But as they get running again, Estelle's starting to lag behind because I think Joshua's put on his like fast guy mode.
Yeah.
Then suddenly he pivots and he's like, watch out, and dives to grab Estelle and push her out of the way as a giant piece of debris drops down and smashes through the path that they were walking on.
Yes.
So they are separated from the rest of the party by at least a significant distance, so it's not jumpable, it's not whippable.
Yep. And the rest, our gang is like, we're like, don't worry about us. You guys go ahead. And Cher's like, how the fuck do you think I'm supposed to look Cassius in the eye and do that? Really?
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with you? Which is a very good point.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to figure out how we're going to get across. And then Olivia's like, actually, I don't think this was the only way out. The cap was, remember, that there was another exit looking like an entrance to a tunnel that said it was an emergency exit that would only like unlock during an emergency. And we're like, well, clearly this is some pretty intense structural damage, so I think it counts.
Yeah.
And then we get control of them.
Yeah, finally, I can save for the final minutes of the game.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, it's good to be able to save now. However, I'm very glad. I'll tell you why in a minute, why I was so glad. You do have a lot of walking to do. Like, they don't just let you save for a minute. Like, you have so far to go.
Yeah, it's a long hike because you have to get back out of the end of Liberac Tunnels 3 where we are, back to the Axis pillar, and then across to the exit that we couldn't open before. So you're in there, which is just a very, very, very long series of tunnels with no monsters, thank God.
Yeah.
But you're just like running in turbo mode for it's like 6 or 7 screens. It's a crazy amount.
Yeah. But then finally we go back outside. It's a new area. We're on a walkway. And we're like, good, we're outside, but then suddenly we're shaking again. We're like, oh no. And then the pathway in front of us collapses out of existence. And Josh was like, let's go back, Estelle. We went to the other side, and the pathway over there collapses out of existence. Now, at first, it's kind of like, hang on, how are we just floating in midair? Like, it's like Wile E. Coyote before he realized, but there is like underneath, like a pillar that's holding it up. However, that's not going to last long. Our characters say, well, so much for going back.
Well, we're kind of stuck here. There's no other way to go, and there's no hope.
No.
I guess we can hope that the airship will sweep in and grab us, but other than that, we're kind of fucked.
Probably shouldn't get that close to it anyway.
Estelle asks 2 favors of Joshua. Is like, in this final moment, can I ask 2 things of you? The first is, would you hold on to me, tightly?
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua's like, of course. Comes in for a tight hug, very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then CSI Joshua predicts what ask number 2 is and says, Estelle, may I kiss you?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yes, 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 do it, yes.
They do say to each other they're not scared because they're together at one point, which is sweet, but also they're not freaking out, but they're still upset. And then the land underneath them collapses and we go into an FMV. And this is a beautiful FMV.
Yes. We get a lovely shot of them plummeting as they kiss.
It's a very clear homage to Castle in the Sky, which I keep citing in reference to this to the whole Liber arc thing, but it's very much for if you've seen that movie, at the end of that movie there's a very similar sequence. I love the trope of the beautiful ancient world that's impossibly beautiful and also shouldn't exist getting kind of destroyed at the end.
Mm-hmm.
There's something really beautifully tragic about it. It tickles me in the right way. I love Castle in the Sky, so it tickles me the right way.
I should sit down and watch it.
Oh my gosh, you haven't seen it. Okay, yeah, you should sit down. It's a beautiful movie.
But yeah, we get this really, really extended FMV of the entire Liber arc collapsing, shattering into pieces, which was a little odd to me. Turning off the power shouldn't break the structural integrity of the place, but it does.
I think you can think of it because one of the things you see a lot of is the water bursting out. So if you think that whatever source they're pulling their water from, all the dams are somehow if the power is powering all the dams, there's flowing water, there's whatever stuff. You see a lot of the water just bursting out, and there were waterfalls everywhere. So clearly, there's a lot of water that's being directed and powered, and also kept in check.
Yeah, true.
By the Oriole. So my impression of it is you see everything is just water bursting out of it from everywhere.
But the whole thing is coming to pieces and seemingly plummeting down into Valeria Lake. We hope, because that's a lot of city to come apart and drop.
It can also be that whatever protects them from the air pressure way up here is dissolving, and so the air pressure is...
True.
Now, that wouldn't really explain how, Joshua and Estelle aren't, exploding and dying.
At the end of the FMV, as we're sort of watching the ship come apart, we see the Arcee and the Bobcat fly past, and then we cut to the inside of the Bobcat back in the game engine, where we see Josette begging Kyle to go back for Joshua and Estelle, mostly Joshua. But they simply can't make it in time. The Bobcat is not fast enough to get in and get out.
And to get that close to this destruction without dying as well.
Yeah. Then we cut over to the Arcee where everyone's crowded on the bridge. They're asking the same questions, but it's they've barely managed to get the ship airborne, so it's not flight capable enough to escape from underneath the wreckage if it gets caught under it. So it's we don't have the power to save them. And everyone's sad because it's damn, after all this time, Joshua and Estelle, they finally figured their shit out. They started smooching. They were going to move on with their lives.
And we finally saved the world.
And we saved the world also, and it's too bad. At which point, Dorothy seems happy, and everyone's like, Dorothy, read the room.
Yeah.
And she said, no, look out there. Sieg is flying around looking all happy.
And he sure is.
We get a very, 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 very long shot of Sieg flying across the sky, which I watched at normal speed for a while and was like, oh wait, I can turbo. At which point we see what he's so happy about as rising from the cloud cover, we see Ragnar the Dragon.
Trans Dragon makes a return.
With Estelle and Joshua on his back, plus Brigadier General Dad Bright.
Yeah! And he's in his old bracer outfit. He's not in his military uniform. He's in his old casual, civvy bracer clothes. And it sounds whoa, Ragnar, why are you here? I like that she's landed on him and has, flown up this distance. She's what? It does not seem like they just caught her, and yet she's, just reacting.
She's like, the fuck? Also, what are you doing here, Dad?
Yeah.
And Joshua calls him out. He's like, you just wanted to, surprise us, didn't you? He's like, hee, maybe. And
Joshua's like, well, thanks for saving our lives. And he's like, yeah, power had been restored to the nation. So I put all the work off on General Morgan.
Yeah. Dumped it all on Morgan.
I said I did enough.
The world getting saved paperwork. And then I went to find Ragnar to see what I could do to help. Estelle kind of pipes up and is like, wait, dragons have a non-interference clause with humanity. Won't you get in trouble for this, Ragnar?
from the Dragon Guild. Like, it's very much like, you're like bracers, you have a non-intervention clause, you can't do this.
Yeah, won't your, like, dragon supervisor be mad at you or something? And he's like, well, you know what? The ancient contract stated that I was to watch over humanity until a resolution was found on the matter of the Aureole.
The question posed, right?
Kind of gestures at all the debris falling around him and is like, it seems like it's been fixed. So we've answered that question, so now I'm free to kind of do whatever. So when Cassius was like, can I have a boon? Can you save my kids? I was like, yeah, all right, sounds good. Very sweet of him. They also questioned, what is this ancient contract?
Cassius doesn't know either, which is rare for Cassius.
He's like, I've been asking him that for years, but I haven't been able to get a straight answer out of him, and I truly don't know what he means. After all, Hardhead here seems to enjoy holding back the details.
And so Ragnar says something cryptic. Then he says, so it is I say unto you, know that the gears of fate have finally begun their inexorable churn. And in their ponderous cycling, no force can stop them. The quest is done, but the campaign yet lies before thee. Gird thyself with wisdom, you who hear me now. And I feel like this is kind of addressed at the player. This is just the beginning of the Trails series. Like, there's a lot more.
It's like, oh, we're just getting started, baby.
There's kind of an idea of, like, what has been started here, the ripple effects of this. This has not been resolved. This is going to have wider ripple effects. There's something too big to stop has happened. Estelle's kind of like, whoa, wait, we have more to do? And Cassius says, no, those battles are destined to be fought elsewhere and by different people. But those are concerns for another time. We've worked a genuine miracle today. Don't worry about what's to come for now. You've earned your rest. So he's basically saying there's another Trails game coming, but we're going to be set somewhere else, and there's going to be new characters.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry, daughter. That will happen in the next arc.
Yes. And you might not be the protagonist anymore. You might get to just be a side character who's not responsible for fixing everything.
But yeah, as we approach the Arcee, everyone's waving and ready to welcome Joshua and Estelle back. They wave from the back of the dragon, which I thought was cute.
It's very cute. Josette's waving too from Bobcat.
Smart Dorothy, she's there taking photos to prove that they rode a dragon, and that's what you really need, the candid photos.
You really do. She's got her priorities in order better than anyone.
She has a line earlier on where she mentions, like, when they finish this, she'll take, like...
a souvenir photo.
And she followed through. I just want to see, like, a framed photo on Estelle's desk the next time we visit her house of just, like, her and Joshua waving from the back of a pink and green dragon.
Honestly, that'd be the best. She did say back when she was in the souvenir thing, she was like, it'll be a souvenir photo to remember what we came here for. And I'm like, Dorothy, I'm not sure if you know what we're here for in the first place. I really don't think you have any idea why we're here.
Yeah, she thought we were here to find a new place to live, basically.
Yeah, she's like, it's cool up here. And then we have credits.
And it's over. We're done. Psych. No, we're not.
No. The credit sequence is nice. There's a lot of, like, still photos of different characters and kind of setting up, like, what's going on next. So Kilika and Jin seem to be heading off together. Claudia is, like, being presented to the people in her crown. Annalise and Kurt are doing bracer things. Olivier is just a prince, and Mueller has a headache. Tita's parents seem to have come back. She's hugging them.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's very cute. And Agate is, like, training more new bracer recruits.
It looks like it, yeah. And Josette, Josette's got, like, a checkboard and then, like, a note and paper and, like, a pen, and is smiling, and the other Capuas are carrying things, and they were talking about starting, like, a shipping business, so it kind of suggests that they're setting up their shipping business, which is cute. And Kevin is on an airship with holding his like, priest jacket over his shoulder, like, all casually showing off his earring, like, looking off into the distance. And Roland is chilling, and we see, Cassius and Shara hanging out at the Roland Guild. It looks like Cassius is back in his bracer uniform, which is cool. But I don't know if that means that he's back with the bracers, or if that's just that they took a picture and he's in his casual clothes. And we also get a shot of the harmonica and the staff sitting next to each other. Because they're all united back together again.
Aww.
As they should be.
And then as the credits come to a close, we fade back in for one last scene.
Yes.
A title card pops up saying that we are in Harmel.
Yeah.
We are in Erebonia at the former village of Harmel. You see some destroyed buildings and a bunch of sort of debris.
Yeah, it's the same shot we saw in the prologue when the Capuas were here and Joshua was standing at the site. That's like the same kind of, it's bookending kind of the whole thing.
Yeah. We pan along to find Estelle and Joshua standing before a big monument rock that has something sort of carved on the front of it. Firstly, Joshua sort of says hello to Karen, says that he's brought Louvet along to keep her company, and places the sword at the base of the monument so they can finally be together, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Estelle asks if it's okay if she says hello to Karen.
And Estelle's carrying a bunch of white flowers.
I really like how Estelle first introduces herself to Karen as well.
Yeah.
She's sort of like, "Hi, I'm Estelle. Well, for a little while I was sort of trying to be his replacement sister without knowing it, but I couldn't really replace you. I guess now I'm his girlfriend."
It's so weird.
I think I noticed in this thing, like, the first portion pops up and she's sort of got, like, a demure, like, eyes closed face, and then when the girlfriend line pops in, it switches to her, like, embarrassed, blushing face.
Yeah, it does. I've got a screenshot of where it changes.
She's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm his girlfriend." And Joshua responds, "You guess? That's terrible." He's like, "Well, I'm not used to it. It's new. It's kind of embarrassing."
Which is so, like, when you're in high school and you're, like, dating someone for the first time type of thing, and you're like, "Oh, but I can't say I have a crush on you." And it's like, we're dating. I'm aware you have a crush on me, but it's embarrassing.
And it lines up. They're like, 16, 17 at this point.
Yeah.
So it is their first real relationship for both of them.
Yeah.
Joshua mentions that he thinks that Estelle and Karen would have got on. They were like two opposing forces that would work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
And Estelle's like, "Oh, so I'm not kind and caring and loving like your sister?" He's like, "No, that's not what I meant. You are kind and sweet, yes. Quiet and demure, maybe not."
Yeah.
But I like that.
Exactly.
It says you're always bright, optimistic, and shining like the sun. That's the girl I fell in love with.
And Estelle gets embarrassed again, because of course she does.
Love? What, you like me? Crazy.
And he's like, well, did you not like me saying that? And Estelle's like, well, of course I liked it. That's not the issue here. She's like, okay, fine. We said hello. Let's leave. Let's leave. I'm too embarrassed. Let's go. I can see Cameron rolling her eyes at us from the cloud tops anyway. We're too embarrassing. We gotta leave.
And once again, Joshua tries to run off on his own. He's like, "Do you really want to come with me? You don't have to. I can go do this by myself."
She's like, "You're a fucking idiot."
You're an idiot. He's like, yeah. He wants to travel and get stronger and make amends for all of his actions in the society to kind of give back to the world what he took, essentially.
Estelle's got kind of like a list of reasons already prepared. She's like, well, first of all, Ragnar said there's going to be a bunch of shit going on around the continent, so, like, I gotta be near stuff. Second, obviously the society's got more shit up their sleeves. They're not just going to go quietly. I want to get stronger so that I'm ready for when they come back. You're also not the only one who is someone they want to live up to. I want to get stronger and match up to my dad, to Cassius.
He wants to be stronger than Cassius Bright, which is, like, a big swing.
Crazy. Also, I promised Louvet I'd look after you. Also, I want to travel and see more places in the Burl. Also, I want to find Ren. And do I really need a reason to want to be with you anyway? That's 7 reasons she lists is like for why. Like, she's prepared her list.
Yeah. I love that the last one is just like, do I need an excuse to spend time with my boyfriend?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That's why we're dating. That's why you date a person, because you want to spend time with them.
Exactly. And, with that, they're like, all right, well, let us step hand in hand towards the future. We get a lovely illustration of them holding hands in front of the sky. Yeah,
Joshua says, I don't know where the path is leading us. He doesn't say trail, which is sad. He goes, but I'm sure something awaits us in the end. And still goes, one step at a time, we'll walk it together to the end. And it pans up to the sky, and it says, Fang. And it's done.
It's the end. It's the actual end.
It's the actual end. Oh my god.
I love it. The shot it's the sky, but you do see an airship trail cutting across it.
You see a trail in the sky, as you should.
And that's it. That's the end of the story.
It's so good.
So what are we playing next week?
Oh my god.
Nothing. Whatever we want.
We are thinking of doing maybe something special early in the new year. Sort of a special holiday themed end of the year. Kind of a lot of people do Goaty type episodes, things like that. This is our first holiday season as a show. So we right at the point of figuring out traditions for the future.
Yeah, so like I said right at the start of the episode, we might look to do like an overall season wrap-up episode like we did last season, probably to come out sometime in the new year. We've got a couple of other ideas floating around, like said, and some other ideas. I know at some point I'd love it if we could do a bonus about the second chapter AMV movie that got released.
We will want to check it out and see if it's any good.
Apparently it could be better, but that's okay. I'm just excited to see what they take away from this story and turn into like a short movie.
Yes, for sure. I'm excited.
And beyond that, we'll be back sometime in the new year
Early in the new year.
for Trails in the Sky the Third. You know, we've been going at it hard for
Yeah.
a while now.
Yeah.
2 seasons straight of a weekly show where, yep, this recording has hit 3 hours.
Yep.
So
we do need a break.
that's a lot of talking, a lot of prepping. So when we return in the new year, we might even look at mixing up the schedule a little bit just to make it a little bit easy on us to have lives outside of this.
We can probably announce now that we're planning in the new year to go to an every 2 weeks
Yeah, fortnightly.
system. Now it's possible there will be there'll be exceptions, especially if we end up putting out a bonus episode for the SC remake or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
For our consistent episodes, we're going to be doing every 2 weeks. Also, though, given that Trails Beyond the Horizon is coming out in January, there's a pretty good chance that we'll record something with our thoughts on that. Once we've not in the whole, I don't know when we'll finish it, but we'll probably have some early thoughts, and we'll probably talk about that for anyone who's up to date on that. We're going to be talking about it together. We might as well record it, but there's definitely no world where...
Exactly.
Matt and I have been talking about Trails games together since we've known each other. So there's no world where we're not talking about that game. And that's coming out in mid-late January.
It's like the 15th or 16th, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
That will be something to look forward to.
Also,
oh, that's right. I have played Daybreak too, so I can actually go straight into that. How exciting.
you have. You're all caught up. And you only have 2 games in the whole Trail series that you haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Because there's Azure and Third.
So that all will start to happen in the new year. But for now, we're going to take a break, rest and relax. Knowing myself, I'll probably take a break from doing all this JRPG talk by talking and playing more JRPGs.
Yep, same here.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us through another season, another game of the Trails series. It's been such a joy to cover this game, to play this game, to learn more about the series that I already liked. We've got a few little threads hanging for where we might be going in Trails Third that I'm looking forward to discovering.
Very excited. We also have ideas for the cover art for the next season that we're very excited to follow through on. Very excited to be able to share that when that's existing.
Yes, look forward to that.
We love some good cover art. We're very excited.
Yes, thank you to Tom Oxnam for the wonderful cover art we've had for the last 2 seasons. We love you, Tom. Go check out his Instagram and all of his other beautiful art.
Yes.
Now, this week, because it is the last episode of the regular season, I won't pull a specific name out of the community chest. I'll just say thank you to the Worst Garbage Network overall for welcoming us to your ranks this year. It's been lovely to join this ever-expanding family of wonderful people.
Yes, it has.
And you know what? I'll just rattle off the name of every show. So
do it.
Pause and go check out each of these shows. We have Can't Let It Go, .zip, Flow State, Frog of the Week, Girl Mode, Into the Aether, In Sequence, Memory Card Manuscript, NPC Next Portable Console, Pause and Clause, Press Start, Trails Through Trails, Video Game Podtimism, and Wavelengths. All of which are wonderful pieces of media. Go check them out. You've got a couple of months off from us, so hey, go check out those shows. If you love RPGs, there's also older shows like Asynchronous, which was a video game catch-up show covering games in an extended format like we do.
Yes.
They have a couple of great seasons sitting there ready and waiting for you.
Our elders, if you would, in our podcast ancestor, we're in their lineage.
Thank you to AJ and Kim who brought that show to us. It was one of my favorites.
It was so fun.
You know what? Don't be sad because it's over. Be happy that it happened. So thank you to everyone on the list, to the guests that we've had on the past 2 seasons, and hopefully the guests we'll have in the future.
Yes.
It's great to be part of the network. Come check it out at thewestgarbage.online for links to all of the shows and to the Discord where you can come chat to us during the off-season.
Yeah, you can find us on the Orbital Net at Trails Pod on Blue Sky, on Instagram and Twitter, but Blue Sky is our most reliable one of the social medias. At trails2trails@gmail.com for any emails you want to send, and of course on the Discord, which is where we spend disgusting amounts of time, really. We're like always there.
Yep, it's a problem.
Echoing out all of that, all the thank yous. It's been such an incredible year getting this show started and playing through these, and my New Year's resolution for last year was to put myself out there more creatively.
Oh,
and I've really done that with this show being the main thing, so that actually makes me feel really good. So I'm really, really, really pleased with that.
I honestly had the itch to start a podcast for like 2-3 years, and I just couldn't find the right vehicle for it, and it turns out it's this one.
Yeah.
Because I've had a wonderful time making the show with you.
Me too. Thank you for being my co-host and friend.
Thank you for being my friend and co-host. Wait, yeah, how do the...
Oh, the fucking Gen Z thing that they do. It's like that. This is so much...
Yeah, fucking... We're making heart fingers at each other.
Yeah.
We're too old. We can't do the new heart.
We can't do that. We'll do this. This is perfectly... If it ain't broke, don't break it. This works perfectly fine.
I don't understand how the Zoomer heart is better at all. Anyway, I've been Matt.
And I've been Lex.
And we'll see you...
on the next trail. Which will still be in the sky, because there's a third.
The end.
The end. Fine.
Finn.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.